Hello, and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Rianchi, your host. It's Monday, July 20th, 9 p.m. If you're on the East Coast, it's tomorrow at midnight. We're here to draft some best ball teams. As always, a little late night drafting. Let's go. We're going to start on Underdog, and I think I'm going to save my pug for when this contest is like really close to filling. I'm tempted to join the pug, but I don't think so. So it's between the PPR Frenchie and the Fast Puppy. And I believe yesterday we drafted a lot in full PPR. So I have time for two drafts tonight. Only a couple. Don't think I'm going to do more than two, but I think the vibe is definitely Fast Puppy this evening. So back to the typical scoring on Underdog, half PPR. I think it's the move. Let's get it going. Mr. Mufasa is also requesting the puppy. So let's do what Mr. Mufasa has requested. Let's join the Fast Puppy. And we're joining in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Vámonos, muchachos. 4 spots left. Come on down. Looks like there's going to be a few friends and family in this one. We get pick 1. Phenomenal. We're right next to 0 at the 102. Dylanog at pick 3. Parker K at pick 4. Tiger Woods at pick 5. J-Rock the Party in the house at pick 6. The Burgess in here at pick 7. Sparkles 99 at pick 8. GB is in here at the 109. Mr. Mufasa pulled the 10. Brian Coke at pick 11. And then lastly, Austin LaRoche at pick 12. Good luck, everyone. Excited for it. And should be a fun time. But Mr. Mufasa, great show earlier on Fanspeak. Adam, appreciate that, Mr. Mufasa. I felt like the team was fun, very interesting. A team I've never drafted before. The Amon-Ra Nico Collins start was definitely a little bit different. But I felt like it came together nicely. Love that we got Scatabo in the 4th. That always feels nice when we're over on the Fanspeak network, especially. But here at the 101, not going to mix it up. We're just taking gives and moving on with our day. But appreciate that, Mr. Mufasa. Had a fun time. Very nice every time I've been a guest on the Fanspeak Network. Highly recommend anyone who hasn't checked them out, go and subscribe over there on the Fanspeak Network. We also have their best ball guide available with a nice little discount down below. You can get 20% off. They have amazing Spike Week charts, player profiles for every single team. Very good value. I believe you get the full year for less than $30 on their Substack. But check the link in the description. Promo code BLUNT gets you 20% off the Fanspeak best ball guide this summer. But Austin in here, let's roll, baby. 107. I'm going to be doing a different strategy this time, though, since I've done so many Fast Puppies, so don't roast me too hard. You know what? Getting unique is always a viable strategy. That's kind of the way I went on my draft with Bruni earlier. Not the craziest picks, but just a little bit different combos, players that I normally otherwise would not have together. Like, if I had pick 5, that's my favorite spot to get weird, and we pulled from different sides of the board. A Nico Collins Cardinal Tate combo is not going to be the most common, but there's definitely things that are more justified than others. There are some pull-up moves that I just don't quite love compared to others. But what's up, Omega? How we doing? Cheers to you. Nice to see you. All right, round 1 was pretty typical for the most part, other than Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb going above CMC and Taylor. It's pretty much typical, but Hampton goes at 11, London went at 13, and then Chase Brown at 14, which means the Jefferson drafter, Mr. Mufasa himself, got Genty to make it back at pick 15. The Jefferson-Genty combo, that feels pretty sweet. Almost happened for GB. I'm sure GB was interested in Genty, but oh no, he pulls up Nico Collins. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But if you're just popping in, let me know what you think on the poll question. I'm asking y'all, who wins the division in the AFC North? Is it the reigning champs, the Steelers? Will Rodgers go 2-0 in his stint with Pittsburgh? Will the Ravens reclaim the spot? Will the Bengals finally get their shit together? Or will the Browns shock the world? Let me know what you guys think in the poll down below. But okay, round 2 is getting very interesting. Round 2 has a lot of different polls and pays to be the 104 today. The Puka Derrick Henry team is pretty nice. The JSN Achan team is pretty nice. The Amon-Ra and Ken Walker team at the 106 is also kind of cool. But AJ Brown goes at 22. I'm going to miss out on all the values, basically, in the second round. But Pickens goes. That's fine. I'm definitely Rashee Rice here. I think he is the best pick for sure. And then, I'll get a little different. I do have Chris Olave ranked as the next highest player, but I definitely have some Gibbs, Rashee Rice, and Olave teams. I hate taking Jeremiah Love here. Not the most excited in Breece Hall. And while I almost want to take Kyron, I just took him with Bruni on the Fanspeak Network. So I'm going to pull up T. Higgins. After Chris Olave, T. Higgins is my highest ranked receiver. And who knows, maybe this is a draft where Joe Burrow does make it back. But T. Higgins has top 5 upside any week. And he used to go here quite often, paired up with Jamar Chase. So I think he's a legit third-round pick. We're just getting different for the most part. A T. Higgins team with Jahmyr Gibbs will be a little bit different. Just a little bit different. We'll see how it goes. But Browns is the Browns. Yeah, the Browns ain't winning shit. At least not vying for the division. That's for sure. But Austin saying Bengals all day, Burrow MVP in his opinion, and the Madden cover next year. Bold take, not a crazy take. Honestly, a pretty based conviction there. It's their defense, though. Their defense going to hold them back. It's not a question of the offense. Burrow can be MVP, and if they go like 14-3, he probably would win it. But do I trust their defense to give them even 10 wins? That I don't feel too good about. They're probably in the same position as always, where they're desperate for wins down the stretch because their defense didn't show up, / Burrow got hurt. Bengals need to get their shit together for just 1 year, and maybe they make it back to the Super Bowl. But Mr. Mufasa saying, give me the Ravens in a bounce-back season. I do think the Bengals will have an awesome offense with a healthy Burrow, though. It's going to be a fun one. That division's very much up for grabs. The Steelers are underrated in terms of their reliability. Without Mike Tomlin, though, will they win 10-plus games? With Mike McCarthy, he was also winning double-digit games with the Cowboys, but it's a much different story. The Steelers' defense is kind of different this time. Not the same beast, but that division's very compelling, very competitive, if not the most competitive in the NFL. So curious to see what happens in the AFC North. Appreciate y'all's opinion. We'll check back in on the poll later in the live stream. But Austin saying Bengals might now win the division, but I definitely have them as a sneaky big Super Bowl favorite. Okay, maybe you meant to type not. But yeah, Bengals, if they can get their shit together, they are a top 2 team in the AFC any given year. They can compete with anyone if they just get their shit together. Yeah, if they're just healthy, they are always amazing. But Zero saying go Steelers. He's on the clock right now. Goes Luther Burden. He also pulled up Egbuka. He's getting a little different. But wow, you let Scatterbo fall back to me at 48? Fuck yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Not even going to think about this. Hell yeah. Scatterbo at 48 all day. Question is here, what direction do I go? The receiver position went on a big run. That's my preferred direction, but at least having one running back feels pretty solid. I could just get the double. You know what? I'll go for the bring back. I'm sure if Huhames sees this, he's not going to be too upset with it. We're going to have a video tomorrow on his channel, a live stream collab like we were doing every week. Last week it was on my channel. Tomorrow it's on Huhames' channel. and we will be discussing the wide receiver position from the 3rd round on through the 5th. It's a very, very interesting market at wideout, starting with like once Pickens comes off the board, I think there's a lot of nuances where everyone is going to have slightly different rankings for the most part. Round 3 through 5 is probably the crux of your draft, especially at receiver, especially if you started off double running back. But yeah, the rankings I would not say are in the most accurate order imaginable. I think best ball absolutely determines how we feel about it. And I think if we are just like, regardless of ADP, just looking at who is on the board, I think everyone's going to have a much different take on which receivers should go in which order in those 3 rounds. But that's really like where the league winners are. I think that's where most of the production that you really need this year is coming from. It's not that you can't get good values later, but making the right decisions in rounds 3, 4, and 5, I think is pretty critical. But we take Rome Odunze, get the bring back versus Gibbs in week 17. Nice little bring back. And obviously, if Burrow doesn't make it, we usually have the chance of at least taking Caleb. But Zero has Luther Burden. Maybe I sniped him on Rome in theory. But we'll see. But Zero did not realize that Scat was available. Must have custom rankings in. I am very grateful. You did not scroll all the way up, brother. I appreciate that. But Captain Spock says Steelers will collapse and Mike Tomlin will laugh. That's possible. Mike Tomlin should have a very fun time broadcasting for, I believe, NBC this year. I'm pretty sure NBC hired him, and that's going to be fun. I think Mike Tomlin on the broadcast should be a very fun time. Honestly, swap out Chris Collinsworth for Mike Tomlin on Sunday Night Football. Imagine Mike Tirico and Mike Tomlin. That would be a lot more interesting, honestly. I'm kind of tired of Chris Collinsworth just glazing Mahomes every fucking week. But Collinsworth is kind of quintessential. At some point, some of the voices of the NFL are going to change. Like the guy on Prime, Al. Fuck, I can't believe I'm forgetting his last name. But he used to broadcast Sunday Night Football with Chris Collinsworth. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Al. Fuck. The weed's hitting me tonight, but you know who I'm talking about. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. A legend in the space. He used to broadcast with Madden. Yo, we get Burrow to make it back. Al Michaels. GB, thank you. Al Michaels. Okay, this is fun. This is interesting. Burrow at 72 with T. Higgins. Not going to be as many Burrow T. Higgins teams with Gibbs, that's for sure. So the unique combo pays off a little bit. And then the question here is, do I just take Caleb or do I ignore that? I'm not taking Jalen Warren again. Fuck it. I'll just go double elite quarterback. The Burrow and Caleb Williams combo, not going to be the most common. And yeah, this is fun. This is fun. You know, not Joe Buck. I've come to respect Joe Buck a lot more over the years. Didn't used to like him, respect him a lot more right now. Him and yo, fuck. Troy Aikman. Him and Troy Aikman have the best broadcast of them all. I think that one's my favorite on Monday Night Football. It used to be dog shit on Monday Night Football. Then they brought in Buck and Aikman, and now it's lit. But yeah, Al Michaels could probably retire at this point. I think Al Michaels has fallen off. He's not in his prime anymore, that's for sure. But GB, Steelers, still the kings of the North in his opinion. Yo, we got Pepper Tony in the house. Fimpst, nice to see you, brother. Yeah, tomorrow I'm looking forward to that as well. Going to be a fun rankings debate. And it's funny because I think me and Huhames like agree on some things, but then it's going to be curious on like who is the lowest on this player that we both hate, who is the highest on this player that we both really like, who is going to be willing to go out on a limb and maybe look way off base compared to the market, but just take a stand. I think it's going to be a very fun video tomorrow. But J-Rock to party, had to take Marv. Sorry, Zero. I wasn't taking him, so I'm glad he was off the board. But Zero says, nice pick. I assume that's our Burrow selection. I'm very grateful that the Jamar Chase drafter passed on Chuba Hubbard. I'm not sure what they were thinking, if they just don't give a shit about Burrow, or maybe they didn't realize that I had T. Higgins. Maybe they just assumed that the T. Higgins drafter had passed and are like, fuck it, let's push him to the 7th. I love me some Chuba. You know, maybe that's what happened for Team 3, but I genuinely did not expect Burrow at 72. So, fun combo with Gibbs and T. Higgins. That makes it an interesting team. Because essentially we got him in the 7th round. I think that's where he should be going. I think him at the top of the 6th is incorrect. It's really just the T. Higgins drafter that dictates Burrow's ADP. But what's up, Anthony? Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. Zero is convinced that Marv will make some people rich. That's pretty rich. I don't quite believe it, but he was better last year than some people give him credit for. He had a couple 15-point games. The volume was there. It didn't really disappear. Even though Michael Wilson had a breakout when Marv came back to the field for like one game, he was still putting up decent numbers. Mahomes goes, so that kind of saves me from myself making a mistake in my opinion. I would have loved Ricky Pearsall, but I think somebody took him. Yeah, he already went. So I might as well just take the fall on downs, perhaps. But grabbing a running back could also be useful. I'll go J.K. Dobbins, actually. He's on the thumbnail. I'll add him on. Paired up with Scatabo. If Scatabo has a slow start, then Dobbins should fill in. And at least until he goes down, he's the more valuable option in that offense. But Downs is still here. I'm a little worried about Keenan Allen nuking him, but sure. In the 9th round, that's probably as far as he trickles down the board. And Alec Pierce also with some injury possibilities. So I'll just take the falling value. 7 picks on Downs, a player that's been moving up lately. We stay balanced. We got 3 different bye weeks at running back with Gibbs, Scatabo, and J.K. Dobbins. 3 legit starters. And if Dobbins just stays healthy, then he's a smash pick. But you know he'll go down inevitably. We'll have to make some swings for the late season. But Gibbs and Scatabo can carry me for sure. Rashi, T. Higgins, Romadunze, and Josh Downs. Very fun combo. I like this team so far. Coming together nicely. The Burrow-Caleb stacks. Not the most common pairing either. So, fun team. A little bit different from the 101. But our boy Who Hames is in the chat. What's up, brother? How we doing? Loved your appearance tonight on Best Ball Guys channel. I thought that was an amazing live stream. Thought you were cooking, brother. You really delivered. Great stream tonight. Thanks for popping in and excited for our stream tomorrow on your channel. I believe that'll be after Who is also hosting BBG earlier in the day, but at 6:30 p.m. Central, we'll go live with our wide receiver rankings conversation. But Crumb is saying, what's your take on A.J. Brown versus Rashi? I think the only dilemma with A.J. Brown is his Week 17 matchup against Pat Surtain. That's a matchup to fade, no doubt about it. However, he still probably delivers in a major way. I think he's a great advance piece. I love his Week 16 matchup. He gets the Jets Week 16. So A.J. Brown's going to help you get there. Might fall off against Pat Surtain, though, when all the money's made. But I think he's a great pick in the 2nd round. I got my bags packed, though, in the 3rd. So I haven't been scooping him up as much on the stream lately. But if you were watching me in February and March and April, I was always convinced from the get-go A.J. Brown would be a Patriot, so I'd been drafting it that way. And he could, probably doesn't, but he could play as well as Randy Moss. I don't think he's dropping 27 touchdowns like he did in 2007. That's not going to happen. But I do think the ghost of that trade and the Randy Moss era, I think, is part of the motivation for bringing in A.J. Brown. The reunion with Mike Vrabel is obviously a big motivating factor there too. And then A.J. Brown was kind of dog shit last year, barely cracked 1,000 yards. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's towards the back end of his prime. So elite quarterback play this season. A.J. Brown should be excellent. I still really trust Rashee Rice, though. I think they're both second-round picks. And I think once Lamb is off the board, they're both in the same tier as London. It's kind of just, who do you prefer? I would rather go A.J. Brown, I think, but Rashee Rice is right there. And if Rashee Rice is ever there in the third round, I'd scoop him up like crazy. He was elite last year. He was fantastic when healthy. All right, I'm back on the clock. Not too many exciting options, but I do think for the points, just the raw points, I think Kelsey right here is a very good pick. And then I feel like I'm willing to trust my running back room to the point where it doesn't feel desperate. I think grabbing Kelsey, locking up a lot of volume. I love his week 17 matchup against the Chargers as well. So I think he's a nice piece to have. Paired up with Kincaid, I think elite floor, elite upside any given week. I think we have top 10 tight ends with both of them. And I think they're both phenomenal picks in this range. So I feel pretty solid about my receiver room. There wasn't a good value that fell back to me. So just grabbing tight ends there ahead of some of the running backs. Very high upside any given week with Kelsey and Kincaid. They can both drop like 18 points in a random matchup. So we'll see. But you're welcome, Huhames. Absolutely enjoyed tonight's stream with BBG. Awesome time there. But Mr. Mufasa saying 31 watching, hit the like and take a poll. Yeah, we only got 9 likes right now. So would appreciate if you're enjoying this live stream to hit that like button. The team is interesting. The team is pretty fun. Gibbs, Scatabo, and Dobbins. Dobbins on the thumbnail, so a little extra good vibe. But then the receiver room is pretty lit. Rashee, Rice, T. Higgins stacked with Burrow. Roma Dunze stacked with Caleb. The bring back with Gibbs. And then Josh Downs at a nice price. Tight end room has Kelsey and Kincaid. We get the double investment in Kansas City. And for the price, those are my 2 favorite selections. I think Worthy's fine, but I think I'd rather, if I had Mahomes, for instance, I think I'd rather take Kelsey stacked up with him more often than Xavier Worthy. But both pretty solid values. We don't have Mahomes, though, so it's all fine. No issue with it. We got sniped on Mahomes at pick 94, so I'm glad that I didn't talk myself out of pairing up Caleb with Burrow. They both kind of feel expensive, but they also both have MVP caliber seasons in their tank, and any given week can drop 30-plus points. So should be nice to have the combination of the two. Also different bye weeks, so can stop there if I want. Quarterback feels pretty fun, but all right, sweet. We jumped up to 16 likes. So half of y'all have hit the button. Let's take a rip, shall we? We're halfway done with this draft. Let's take a rip. All right. Middle of the 12th round. Got a lot of different options we can go in. Having Gibbs and Scatabo feels like a nice luxury, honestly. I don't feel desperate about any position right now. The 2-3-4-2 is very balanced. Pretty sweet. We're chilling so far. But Shadow Days Gaming, do you live stream some redraft leagues? Oh, shit, I got to reach out to the subscriber league folks. Definitely going to want to re-up that. We do live stream the auction draft for the subscriber league. That is a redraft format. And then speaking of redraft leagues, the FF Nerd, my boy Ruben here, what's up, brother? Nice to see you, is going to be organizing a redraft league this season with a lot of familiar names. I'm waiting for the final list to confirm everyone, but very excited. That's going to be a fun time. We got some familiar faces entering that league, and Ruben, the FF Nerd, is putting it together. Very excited for that. That'll be fun. So the redraft content is coming but at the moment we're mostly still best ball. But I'll take Travis Hunter on one of these picks. I think I can afford the upside, the luxury. I've started to take him a little bit more often lately. And then here, I'm tempted to grab running back, but not one that's like the most compelling. Damn. The tight ends are nice, though, so I might just take Chig at the falling value. Just scoop him up, because it's hard to get this price in this round these days. Chig has consistently been moving up the board, so I've kind of stopped taking him a little bit, but I still think he's a solid, good pick. The bet on the Commanders is definitely a decent one. Damn, Chris Rodriguez went to 0 at 143. Fuck. I really wish he fell just one more pick. That would have been an insta-click. But obviously, I have to be next to 0 where that happens. He gifted me Scatabo, so I guess he wasn't gifting me the other one. But I sniped you. You sniped me on C-Rod. You sniped me, bro. We sniped each other. It is what it is. But you get your boy Trey Tucker. I'm sure you're not upset with that. If you wanted Chigo Okonkwo, you should have taken him. But passing on C-Rod at 143 would have been pretty wild. I understand. But we do take Travis Hunter, who plays for the Jags. That's a Week 17 bring back. The Jaguars and Commanders do play each other in the big money week. And that should be a pretty high-scoring game. Love that matchup for especially Chigo Okonkwo. The Jags had a good run defense, but a very porous secondary in terms of tight end matchups. It was one of the best last year. It was absolutely top 10 all year long. There were some very good games from tight ends versus the Jags last year. But the Commanders' secondary is ass. They are absolutely a matchup you want for wide receiver. Let me scroll down. Sorry, I think I cropped off the last round a little bit. But so far, we're building a 2-3-5-3. And so far, it feels very balanced. I think we're done at the onesies. Like, legitimately, I don't think I really want to draft another quarterback. There's no one to really backstack that makes a lot of sense other than... No, there's no one. It was either taking Daniel Jones there or not, but he went at 137. He was never really an option. So I'm going to trust the capital I spent. We have two really fun high upside quarterbacks, and we spent a lot to get them. So I think I'm stopping there. The tight end room, I think, is done. Stopping at 3 for sure. So it's just running back and wideout the rest of the way. Very fun on this one. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of good content. Excited for the slate to be announced. Looks like some very legit content creators in that league. Going to be competitive as fuck. I can't wait. But Zero says I needed C-Rod more for my team anyways. You did me a favor. You couldn't have left me C-Rod at 144, my boy. I honestly would have taken Chris Rodriguez at 121 if I didn't already have a lot of him. If I hadn't been loading up on it lately, I like Chris Rodriguez in the 11th round. I like him more than JCM. I like him more than Aaron Jones, actually. I like him a lot. Obviously, my boy Bigsby gets sniped, so Zero is just not letting me have much fun. It is what it is. I'm fine, though, with Tyler Algier. I think he's fallen too far to where, like, from a talent standpoint, he is, like, clearly the best running back in the NFL. Ryan Flournoy falls 10 spots. I don't take him too often. I don't really have... Actually, I do. I do have a bring back Scatabo versus Flournoy, the Cowboys, and the Giants. Sure. I'll scoop that up. Not a super compelling choice in terms of receivers here. So I'll just take the ADP faller in Ryan Flournoy. But Algier is definitely more talented than running back 51. If he wasn't on Arizona, I think he'd be going far, far higher. The Cardinals just nuked his production. And maybe he moves up a little bit if they actually trade James Conner or cut him. But I'm not convinced that Jeremiah Love is a 3-down back. I think that's a backfield that will be, more of a committee approach. And Algier can definitely pay off on the goal line. Not that they're going to have a ton of opportunities, but I think they want to run the ball a lot more this year. And they paid Algier quite a bit. So talent-wise, I think he's the best option. Situation-wise, you can find more compelling clicks. We'll see. But 0, I have way too much Chig, and he'll probably bust. Don't tell who Hames. I think he's going to be good at his pick. I'm not convinced that there aren't tight ends going later that can't give you the same production, if not a little bit more. I'm worried about his touchdown points because he's just not the same player as Zach Ertz. And to just automatically assume that Chigokonkwo will light up the touchdown department the same way Zach Ertz did the last couple years, I think is a bit of a stretch, a bit of hopium, and it just might not happen. So there's players going later that have locked up consistent, more target shares and higher usage year over year. Like Schultz is a perfect example. Hunter Henry is a good example. But the Commanders tight end one has been very, very productive last couple seasons. Yo, what's up, Jiri? Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. He was just live. If anyone hasn't checked out our boy Jiri, good friend of the channel, awesome vibe over there. And we will have Jiri as a guest later this week on Thursday. Look out for that. That's going to be a fun time. We always draft some bangers with Jiri Football. Excited for the collab on Thursday. But the FF Nerd says, I saw you're not a fan of Pick 5, Adam. Not a JSN fan. I'm not the highest on JSN. He's not my wide receiver 3. In my rankings, I do have Amon-Ra at wide receiver 3. And part of me still kind of prefers Justin Jefferson over him. But he's my number 7 overall pick. And I also just hate the build that you get stuck with in the second and third round because the running backs are all gone typically. And then the third round is not very fun for running backs unless you really like Kyron or Travis Etienne. There are some bad picks, I think, in the second and third round. That's the main reason. I don't really love it, but I'm fine with Dontavian Wicks here. There was some good tape on Tank Dell in practice, but I'll go Katron with one of these picks for sure. He's my favorite running back in this range. I think he will be the most likely to pay off. I think he will have the goal line role in Washington. But receiver is kind of a grab bag in multiple directions. I'll go Dontavian Wicks just because I do like the Eagles' offense. I think they're going to be better than last year. And I'm not fully sold on Mekhi Lemon as a perfect fit. I could see just more like random spike weeks for Dontavian Wicks have decent contributing weeks over the course of the season. I like Wicks' upside quite a bit. I think his role is interesting. I trust Howie Roseman a lot. So for Howie to trade for Wicks and Wicks to kind of be buried in Green Bay for a while, have a chip on his shoulder, I do think he can pop off in a major way. So if there's an injury above him, then Wicks, I think, would crush. But I think for the value, he's one of the better talents here. Any given week, I think you can get an 18-point game out of Dontavian Wicks. I think it's possible. He has shown he can take over at times. But what's up, Steve? Good to see you. How's it going, brother? Appreciate you joining us. I know it's late on the East Coast, but so far the team's pretty fun. And we'll recap it in just a minute after our final pick. But thanks for popping in, Steve. Hopefully, we can also get Steve back on the channel. I'll hit you up, Steve, actually. Maybe next week. I would love to schedule something. But GB says, I like my team, but I'm heavily invested in 3 teams. Sometimes the mega stacks can burn you a little bit, but it's never the worst approach to have a team that's just like, all right, this is my team where I'm just sending the, let's see, which rosters do you have? You got the Ravens pretty heavily. That's a good team to bet on. No issue with the Ravens. But Batwheat's in here. Hello! Pepper Tony does not like C-Rod, more like P-Rod. I disagree. I think C-Rod can be pretty productive, actually, in a Jaguars committee backfield. I think he's decent, but Little Dallas Cowboy says, I know it's a draft show, but Dak sucks. We need a QB1. Dak is one of the older quarterbacks in the league, so it's possible they move off of him sooner or later. But the thing about Dak Prescott, I'm a little worried that the trend of him getting hurt every other year will repeat. He never puts up 2 straight seasons with like 17 full games anymore. He's been coming off the field consistently. So I do worry that that happens this year. I'm actually pretty interested to see what Joe Milton can do, but Milton is just not developed enough. Dak is fine, but the coaching is never good enough to really elevate him. And I think he kind of plays at his ceiling most of the time. He does look great sometimes. Other times he just looks kind of mediocre. But the fact that he doesn't run around it anymore is a big problem. I think if he still ran the ball consistently, you'd feel better about him. But too many injuries to still be that same type of athlete. I hope he doesn't go down again. But Flournoy is a perfect pick. In best ball, he does offer some good value. Nice to get him in a falling value. Pick 169, about a full round. But all right, I am on the clock. Receiver feels decent, but the Travis Hunter pick always kind of a factor. I'll go Tyquan Thornton. We have Rashee Rice. We have Travis Kelce. Just give me another Kansas City Chief. I know that Tyquan will have some spikes. I know he's going to have like 3 weeks where he finds the end zone on a big, deep target. So kind of running down the clock there. I probably should have gone Yoshivas, actually. Either him or a Chicago Bear. Maybe a little overcommit to the Chiefs on that one without Mahomes. But with not much time, there aren't that many picks I know what I'm going to get from in round 18. Tyquan's one of those fine ones. It's whatever. I am invested in the Chiefs offense on this one. So full recap, we go with the 2-5-8-3. Joe Burrow and Caleb Williams, 2 high-priced quarterbacks. They both go a little bit high, but they're both stacked up, and getting them at the turn with Gibbs is a little less common to have them both together. So that's pretty fun. Jahmyr Gibbs, Cam Scatabo, that was a big gift at 48. Appreciate that, Zero. Really appreciate letting him fall to me. You did take Cole Kmet. Maybe a snipe. I was not interested in Cole Kmet, but Dobbins on this team, he's on the thumbnail and will produce early season. So if Scatabo is at all slow, I doubt it. I'm more so concerned about Scatabo late in the year, but I think it'll work out. We got Gibbs, so we can always tolerate risk. And Algier, I think, is just too talented to still be left on the board in the 170s. Katron, I think, will be the most productive at cost Commanders running back. Him and Rachaad White are the ways I'm attacking Washington, but closer to pick 200, way more exciting. But Rashee Rice on this team, I think possibly a top 5 receiver. T. Higgins, my wide receiver 12 in my personal rankings. Rome Odunze, possibly a top 20 receiver if he stays healthy, just like last season he was to start the year. And we have both of those guys stacked. On this side of the board, it's less common. Downs fell 7 picks, so that was pretty sweet. Travis Hunter, high upside, but might not see the field very much. Probably runs more routes than people expect. Ryan Flournoy, nice little 10-pick fall, so hoping for some upside. And then Dontavian Wicks, also some high upside, but might not be the most consistent. And then Tyquan Thornton, similar type of approach. Honestly, Hunter, Flournoy, Wicks, and Thornton are basically all guys I'm expecting to hit 20 points like 2 or 3 times. Maybe not 20 points exactly, but like 15 plus about 3 different times of the year with all 3. And then maybe they just slide into a more consistent role because of an injury above them. That's also possible. But I like my top 4. I feel pretty good about those. So the random spikes are really all I want. And I like the team. Tight end, though, has Travis Kelce, Dalton Kincaid, and Chigo Okonkwo. So the youth movement, hopefully Kincaid stays healthy, paired with the savvy veteran in a swan song season. And then Chig, who should score a lot of touchdowns. but he was also 5 picks past ADP, and he's been rising as of late. So the team is different. The team is interesting. The running back room, the depth is a little bit odd, but honestly, just talent wise, I think these guys are all excellent, just running backs in terms of talent. It's a good room. They all have different bye weeks too, so should be nice. And then Gibbs is just carrying everything, so we're living. The quarterback being unique with Burrow, Caleb on this side of the board, I think really makes it interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the chat, but I think it's a nice team. We have a few team reviews to do. I also have to catch up with the chat. I'm well behind, but Zero's a team member. No, he's. Why do I always say that, and it's fucking wrong. Zero is a member of the channel, and he gets a team review. That's what I meant to say. Burgess as well, and then is Mufasa a member? I think Mufasa might be. Yeah, Mr. Mufasa also a team review in store for him. So 3 team reviews, but let's catch up with the chat first. Who Hames, I am not as big on Chig at 140. I was fully in at like 150. Still think likely should be going where Chig is, though. Yeah, there's some weird values at tight end, but the price on Chig a month ago was still much more appealing, especially 2 months ago. It was absolutely the right pick. But now 145 feels much better than 140. But Pepper Tony thinks likely is going to lead the Giants in targets. That's possible. I heard he's the go-to option at camp, but at some point Neighbors probably comes back, so we'll see about that. He should be high up there if it breaks the right way. But Sladen is shocked that people believe in the Steelers. That's fun. The FF Nerd, I feel that easier playing catch-up at receiver than running back this year. Running back premium is high as hell. Yeah. Basically, there's always a receiver that you're going to feel good about. Most of the time. That is not the case at running back. But Mufasa, that means it's less you have to get right. Good thing. Yeah. Every other year, Dak Prescott has a major injury. So I don't want to speak it into existence, but it's possible that happens this season. But, yeah, no, Scatabo has no fear. Scatabo is staying on the field as long as possible. He'll die on the field. If there was one player I would bet to, like, actually suffer that type of injury, it would probably be someone like Scatabo. But the one tough question, decision on a Herbert team, flipping a coin between Tyquan and Brandon Thompson. I think it's worth mixing and matching. Yeah. Randomly go Tyquan, but on occasion, go Brandon Thompson. You can't have 0% Brandon Thompson. The man runs a 4.26. You can't have 0% Brandon Thompson. But what's up, A-Rod? Let's light it for you, shall we? The blunt emoji. It's been a while. Let's take another rip from the pipe. But Zero just mixing up my last round tight end clicks. It's possible Komet is actually the guy you need. Like, imagine if Loveland goes down. It's possible. It's not like they have many other targets in Chicago. So it's totally possible he's relevant, but not a player I'm taking in general. I believe I have like maybe 1 click of Komet this entire time. But Burgess, I don't draft receiver-heavy teams with 0 running back build like this one, but I do like it. Surprisingly, all my 7 receivers are potential number 1s on their own team. Quarterback and tight end room is sick. All RBs have potential to score, at least. We'll take a look. GB, good draft to you as well. Little Dallas Cowboy, I'm a fan of Scataboom and Dart with Maui. Run it to the right. Get healthy, Neighbors. I know, if Neighbors can just be healthy, that offense actually looks pretty high upside. I think they're too talented, Dart and Scatabo, to fade. Last year, they beat the Eagles without Neighbors. And in theory, they should have a better team this year, at least on defense. But their defense, I think, will keep them alive more often than people think. But yeah, Brennan is going to have some some go routes to the house. I think he'll have like 4 touchdowns this year. That's my take on Brandon Thompson. But what's up, Alfred? Nice to see you, JT. Welcome in. But who Hames gave it? Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, let's do some team reviews, though. We've caught up with the chat. Zero was at pick 2. We sniped him on Chigo Okonkwo. He has Jaden Daniels and Dak Prescott. So just like me, paid the price in rounds 6 and 7 and stopped there. He has Bijan, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Chris Rodriguez at 143 is fantastic. Damn, what a nice fall. That's pretty sweet. And then my boy Tank Bigsby, some brutal 1-pick snipes. Honestly, I would have preferred to have pick 2 in this one because I still would have gotten Scatabo. I would not have slept on the fall. Imagine what could have been, Zero. You could have had Scatabo instead of Montgomery. Imagine what could have been. But you took Luther Burden instead. You have Pickens, Egbuka, Luther Burden. You left me Caleb Williams. That was nice. You took Jaden Daniels, though. I don't fault you at all. Jaden Reed, Trey Tucker, Antonio Williams, Darnell Mooney, and Rashad Bateman. The receiver room feels a little bit odd, but you trust Egbuka. That's good to know. With Pickens, some very high upside. Burden, more of a best ball selection, but should pay off on some high usage. His spike week should be fantastic, but Jaden Reed at 95 is pretty good. Tucker, your boy. And then good luck with these 3, but we'll see. Laporta, though, for the Burden bring back, Kittle, high upside, and then Kmet, another bring back, like you said, mixing up your exposures. It's not crazy. It's not crazy to take Kmet at 215. The team's pretty solid. Running back room feels very interesting. If you had Scatabo, I would like a little bit more. But receiver is fun. Receiver has some interesting falling values all over the place. All right. Zero always drafts pretty good teams. One final thanks on leaving me. Cam Scatabo. But Burgess, also a member of the channel. He gets a team review with Drake May, Justin Herbert. That's elite. Malik Willis, though, at 127. Maybe not the most necessary pick, but oh wow, running back was a full zero RB here. This is gross. Keaton Mitchell, Isaiah Pacheco, Zach Charbonnet, Sean Tucker, Marshawn Lloyd, and Braylon Allen. This is gross. You needed 7. If anything, you needed 8. Holy shit. Yeah. OMG. The receiver room better be fucking lit. It better be worth it, man. You have CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Concepcion, and your boy Jalen Tolbert. As always, you can't quit on Tolbert. No wonder you took Malik Willis. Okay. Bowers and Kraft, though, is amazing. So tight end is elite. Receiver is awesome. Yeah, receiver's good enough to pair with tight end and be justified. But here's the thing. You did not need Malik Willis at all. And if anything, first down fantasy might be might be right here. That might be a 10 running back team. Yeah, if anything, you can remove Tolbert and Malik Willis and draft another running back with both of them. I would make this an 8 running back team, honestly. I think the 2-8-6-2 would have been a better use of your time. Malik is just kind of unnecessary there with 2 studs, May and Herbert. And then tight end is great, but receiver's good enough to stop at 6. I think you actually have a receiver room that's good enough to stop at 6. So Tolbert and Malik Willis, unnecessary. Who did you pass on for Malik Willis? You passed on Chris Rodriguez twice, brother. Yeah, blasphemy. Blasphemy. Malik and Keaton Mitchell over Chris Rodriguez. How dare you? How dare you test the fantasy gods? You may have paid the rake. Just dead on arrival, possibly. But who knows? Maybe Hampton goes down week 3. Maybe Pacheco actually delivers. Maybe Sean Tucker is scoring 10 touchdowns this year. Maybe Josh Jacobs gets suspended. Maybe Braylon Allen scores all the touchdowns for the Jets. And maybe Charbonnet is back by like week 8 and he crushes. But yeah, running back is just too brutal. And you needed 8 in a row. You really did. 11 through 18 should have just all been one green log. You have a 6-pick green log. Should have been a 8-pick green log. But yeah, at the end of the day, maybe we never know. Maybe the needle is threaded. We'll find out. But okay. Lastly, though, we got Mr. Mufasa. And then to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever drafted with GB, actually. Maybe I'll take a look at GB's team, just for the hell of it. Just because it's the first time. I think we have enough time on the slate. All right, Mr. Mufasa at pick 10. You go Allen at 39. That's pretty valuable. At least that's the better spot to take him. If you are going to grab Allen, it should be in the 4th. And then Kyler, that's a pretty strong quarterback duo. Genty, Kyron, RJ Harvey, Jordan Mason, and Tyrone Tracy. Very fun running back room. Some elite upside. And very good floor every week. A lot of volume. The running back room is pretty lit. Receiver has Jefferson stacked. Cardinal Tate at 58. Could be a league winner. Tyson is a little scary. Might be a little overpriced, but on a good offense. Addison has elite excuse me. Addison has elite talent, elite upside. If you look at his games with Wentz last year, he was actually amazing. He was actually averaging like 12.5 points last year with Carson Wentz for 3 weeks. But can Kyler deliver? The double stack is a solid bet. Diggs at 130 is very valuable. So the receiver room coming together with Debo at 159, also a good bet on volume. Pat Bryant and Skylar Bell. Very, very solid. The rookie bet with Bell, I think, is fun. Juwan Johnson, Hawkinson stacked up, and Freiermuth. The values for sure, but Hawkinson feels kind of worthless. One of the 3 I don't like. It's TJ Hawkinson. But everything else I think checks out pretty nicely. The running back room I like a lot. Quarterback room with Allen totally checks out. The luxury of Allen doesn't feel like an overspend on this one. In the 4th, I think it works on this roster. Good luck, brother. This one I think is pretty solid. And then lastly, GB, what you got going? I don't always do team reviews for non-members, but first time I recognize you in either forever or a very long time. Let's take a look. Lamar Jackson and CJ Stroud, that is a little thin. Love Lamar, obviously, but Stroud is my only backup quarterback. Feels kind of gross. You probably can get away with it, though, just because it's Lamar. But Stroud, I do worry about. Not my favorite solo backup to be taking. Taylor, though, at pick 9 is a good, solid pick. Javonte at 40 is decent as well. Kenny Gainwell, I like a lot at 112, a nice little discount on top of that. Woody Marks, 10 picks past, definitely more exciting, but I don't love him. He is stacked, though, with Stroud. And then Brian Robinson in Atlanta, 7 picks past ADP, also solid. Overall, the running back room checks out. No holes. Maybe just an overpriced Marks, but 10 picks past ADP, it's totally justified. Nico also stacks with Stroud, so a major bet there. In Houston, pulled him up to 16. The conviction isn't terrible, but a little pricey. I took him at I believe 20 earlier today with Bruni. I think it was pick 20. 16 on the opposite side of the board, definitely unique. But Flowers stacks up. BTJ at 64 is perhaps a steal. DK Metcalf at 81 is solid. Alec Pierce in the 8th round is pretty good. Judy, I've been liking to click more lately a lot. Feels like he's good in the early season and probably gets traded possibly, so could have a lot of value. Surratt in the Raven stack, and then Tank Dell also at 208. Why not? You're pretty committed to Houston. But if Tank Dell hits, then I could see Stroud pay off a little bit more. Tank Dell is interesting. If he stays healthy, Dell could have a lot of upside. I actually think it's decent. But Pitts, Andrews, and Schultz, so the double tight end as well. Paired up with Kyle Pitts, feels pretty solid. Tight end room looks good. Receiver room looks pretty deep. And then running back is very nice values on everyone. Everyone was past ADP up and down the board. So really the only question here is, can you get away with Lamar and Stroud? And as long as Lamar stays healthy, you probably do. So good team, brother. Good team, GB. I like it. I think you let the board come to you and you made very good decisions with nice values. Pretty solid all around. Okay. With that in mind, we're going to move on to our next draft of the evening. We're going to do the Fast Puppy, and I think this is the last draft for me this evening. Appreciate everyone for popping in. We got 61 people in this lobby, so thank you all very much. If you're enjoying, drop the like down below and consider subscribing for more content like this. We go live mostly every day, maybe like at least 5 times a week, if not 6 or 7, all days of the week. And then especially during the season, I'll have videos all throughout the week. It basically becomes my full-time job starting in August through the end of the year. So looking forward to that. And if you have any questions, obviously drop them down below. And just before we get going, just one quick shout out to our sponsor. In case you're new to Underdog, you'd like to sign up, I can offer you $50 in bonus entries using promo code BLUNT. The link is in the description. New customers, terms apply, but all you got to do, sign up with promo code BLUNT, make a first-time deposit that will be matched by 50% up to $1,000. And then your first Fast Puppy, a $5 entry, will get you 10 free entries in that same contest, $50 entries on the house using promo code BLUNT. Link is down below. We also got the link for the FanSpeak Best Ball Guide, 20% off as well, promo code BLUNT. But all right, done with the promos. Let's move on. We're going to draft in the Fast Puppy, and if you guys want to enter this lobby, we will draft in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Instafill, I think y'all played the countdown correctly, if I had to assume. But that was a very legit timed 10-second countdown. I think the tempo on that was very, very accurate, as close as we could get. But my favorite pick of the first round is number 8. Maybe we get sniped on Amon-Ra St. Brown, but this is usually where he goes at ADP. You don't have to reach on him, and I think he's one of the best picks on the board. So to naturally fall with Amon-Ra here would be fantastic. And then if we get a nice fall at running back in the second round, we're going to be happy. But regardless, we're getting a running back we trust. At pick 17, we're in a good spot. So let's shout out this draft. We got Beagle Ears at the 101. Gotham Guy at pick 2. J-Rock to Party at pick 3. Zero's in here again at pick 4. Underdogs Anonymous, A-Rod at pick 5. Rojas Ruben, the FF Nerd, is in here at pick 6. Nice to see you, brother. Sladen at pick 7. I pulled the 108, my favorite slot other than the top 2. And then Rhino at pick 9. Mr. Mufasa in again at pick 10. FK Coolers pulled the 111. And then the Burgess at pick 12. This is basically a full house. Maybe I don't recognize Rhino, but I think we've drafted with Rhino before. But not going to get Amon-Ra to fall. That's totally fine. He goes at pick 5. We'll get someone else. It's okay. It's all right. It could be worse, but Taylor goes, so I'll take Christian McCaffrey at pick 8. I will accept that. If he goes down, he goes down. If not, fucking smash. I did ignore the chat for all the team reviews, so I'm going to try and burn through this quickly, but pardon me if I take some time or skip your message. It's nothing personal. It's just kind of for the sake of time. But J-Rock has 25% Loveland. Damn. Good for you, brother. Young Moolah, what's up? Nice to see you. Appreciate you popping in. Ravens, no doubt. It looks like the poll is more than 50% in favor of the Ravens. Most people say Ravens are going to win. But ADP says Walker. Hell yeah. Let's go CMC Ken Walker. 2-pick slide on CMC, 2-pick slide on Ken Walker. We got the double red shirt correlation. Maybe that means Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. The double red shirt. Don't touch him. Nobody fucking tackle Christian McCaffrey during practice. But, yeah, the fact you passed on Scatabo was pretty shocking to me, Zero. I was pretty surprised. But this has to be in regards to Burgess's team, if I had to guess. Yeah, no, that was a pretty steep fade there. You waited a very long time. Most people are not willing to wait that long on the running back position. But not you, GB. You were fine with it. But interesting take, Dallas. Austin, I'm basically one injury away from winning best ball, though, to be honest. No, you need like 4 different injuries, brother. You need like 4 different injuries to hit. At different times of the year, you need like 4 different ACLs to be a factor. Yeah, if there was one hero running back, that team would be really, really interesting. There needed to be maybe one other pick at running back earlier. If he had just taken like round 1 running back, that team would be very interesting. But here, Olave for sure. McBride at 32 is kind of interesting. Could have taken the 3rd red shirt, but I have Chris Olave definitely above Trey McBride. But that was a very extreme version of 0RB, definitely. But maybe he sees the future. It's possible. Burgess did warn us he was going to get weird before we started. Man of his word. That is true. He did stick to it and getting a little bit weird as well from the 12 slot. He went Chase Brown, AJ Brown, a little Browntown action. And then Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Reuniting Jets pass catchers on the same roster together. And I'll admit, there's part of me that worries I may have faded Garrett Wilson a little bit too much. There's a chance that Garrett Wilson stays healthy and looks just as good as last year and actually plays very, very well. But here, I think I'm going to go with Waddle. I could take Scatabo again, but we already have McCaffrey. There's some injury risk right there. I'll go receiver. I'll take Waddle. In terms of wideouts, he was my highest ranked left on the board. So we'll go Waddle. An excuse to draft Bo Nix. Always kind of welcomed. He's a good value and scores a lot of points. But Zero with a very valid point. Yeah, the pod may have been a bit sharper than you would prefer to draft a team like that. But Jordan Mason has been steaming up lately. People are finally waking up that he's going to be the must-have running back on the Vikings. It's possible. I wish he caught passes. He doesn't catch passes. That's the one problem with him. But if you told me Aaron Jones goes down early with a season-ending injury, it wouldn't be a shocker at all. And they did trade for him, gave him a decent contract. They probably want to use him enough to merit that contract, see what they got in him. And last year was just such a wash with McCarthy. With 9 at quarterback, it's hard to judge just how bad he was. But Mason did look like dog shit last year. He did not look anywhere near as good as Aaron Jones when they were both on the field. And it's because he can't catch passes. He sucks in that regard. If it's full PPR, I don't really think he's worth taking above ADP. Doesn't feel like the wise move on Mason in full PPR. But GB, you're welcome. Thanks for drafting with us. Nice to see you. For, I believe, the first time in the lobby, at least that I can recall. But Mason's always felt like a pretty meh selection, but JMO falls to 56. I've actually been a little bit underweight JMO recently. Let's do it. 6-pick slide. Why not? Kind of all or nothing with JMO, but definitely a much better pick in best ball formats than redraft. And so at 56, I will take him. Feels pretty decent. But I'm trying to catch up with all the chat. We're getting close. But A-Rod, preemptive apologies, Blunt. Are you going to... Oh, you sniped me on Amon-Ra. That's what it was. Honestly, I respect it. I did it in Best Ball Mania earlier tonight. I totally respect it. And kudos to you. You got Derrick Henry to fall back to at pick 20. That's pretty sweet. But yeah, we got Coolers in here. A rare sighting from Coolers. We've seen Coolers a few times on the stream drafts in these lobbies. But appreciate you popping in, Coolers. We will definitely give a team review to Coolers, one of the members. But, ooh, my boy BTJ falls back? Sure. Yeah, a JMO slide, a BTJ slide. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Receivers coming together quite nicely. Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker. If they stay healthy, that's great. Receiver with Olave, Jalen Waddle, Jameson Williams, and Brian Thomas Jr. We got a lot of quarterback options coming up. So far, the team's looking pretty solid. Love pick 8. Like I said, my favorite pick of them all. Pick 8. We did not get Amon-Ra, but we got a nice team so far. Feels pretty sweet. Batweet, you started counting and an ad popped up, hit it too fast, and ended up in another draft next time. Damn, that's brutal. That is annoying as fuck. I will say, sometimes I am very grateful for my YouTube Premium account, but it's not the only account that I have on my YouTube, on my phone. Like on my computer, I always have YouTube Premium signed in, so there's never any ads. But on my phone, it's not always the right account that I pay for. Sometimes I switch back and forth between my creator account and my watching account. And when I get stuck with ads that I'm not expecting, I get fucking pissed. So in all honesty, I highly recommend YouTube Premium. If you watch YouTube more than like 2 hours a day, it is 100% worth your time. Totally worth $13. But next time, Batweet, maybe tomorrow. I think this is my last draft of the evening, though, because we were also live for an hour with Bruni. And speaking of which, thanks for popping in, Meg. Nice to see you with the Fanspeak Network. Hey, Adam, thanks again for joining Bruni again tonight. That was a lot of fun. It was very interesting to draft without seeing the picks, but I felt like still had a really, really awesome team. And that one felt very unique. That one felt really lively and fun. As long as Kyron Williams hits, I think that team is going to be in good shape. But we also got the Scatabo fall, so that was also pretty sweet. I'm glad I made an appearance on the Fanspeak Network and got the chance to draft Cam Scatabo. Always feels appropriate when we're over there. Okay, do I risk Herbert falling back or not? I kind of want to do it. But the lad team is right next to me, so that's probably not going to happen. I think I'll just take QJ, because otherwise it's Rico for me. I'm actually going to go Rico. I think I got it in time. Yeah, I'll take Rico. I will do that. We'll leave it alone. I think I have a good enough receiver room to get away with it. And at the moment, I have a shit ton of QJ. I've got like 27%. So Rico at pick 80. Just my highest ranked player. Definitely worth this pick in my opinion. I think he's more valuable than Jalen Warren, than Ramondre, than Chuba for sure. I could see him be more valuable than Jadarian Price. And if you told me he had a very similar stat line to Tony Pollard, with maybe even one more touchdown, I wouldn't be shocked at all. He might also be getting the Kenneth Gainwell role in Pittsburgh where he catches 50-plus receptions. It could be a career year for Rico Dowdle. So I like him a lot. And while I could have gone Quentin Johnston, it's still not the end of the world. There's other receivers I still like a lot. Unfortunately, I'm really worried that the Mike Evans drafter is just not going to let me have him. But I think it's worth pushing, honestly. I'm going to take who is quickly becoming my boy, Ricky Pearsall. I am drinking the Kool-Aid on Ricky Pearsall. I think this is the breakout that is worth making the bet on. How many times can you draft a first-round pick this late that did show us very solid production last year, was a key piece in their offense? Ricky Pearsall had 4 healthy games with at least 85 yards. One of them, he had 117. The other 2, he was in the 90s. He did not score a single touchdown, but otherwise his season was derailed by injuries. The gunshot wound is unrepeatable. It's not something I would ever expect to happen again to him. I sure hope not. Let's pray for it. But the leg injury is obviously a major red flag. Otherwise, there's really no argument I can think of why Ricky Pearsall is not a good pick. I think Pearsall might be one of the best picks for the cost. To bet on the Niners offense always lifts, and Beagle Ears did make this less exciting. He did take Brock Purdy with Mike Evans. I don't blame him. It's what I kind of expected, but straight up, I still think Pearsall is just a really good pick, and I was willing to hope that I got Purdy to come back. We would have had the double stack with a Ricky Pearsall and CMC had it happened, but not in the cards. The Cortland Sutton drafter took Bo Nix. Unfortunately, A-Rod sniped me again. Maybe I should have taken Sutton just to lock him up. The quarterback position did fall off significantly. I will say that is a little disappointing, but it's still not the end of the world. If anything, I might just take a 6th receiver here and just like stop. Honestly, taking Pittman here and calling it done would feel fine. All right, this will be an interesting team. Back-to-back running backs, then 4 straight receivers. We take Rico Dowdle in the 7th, and then wide receivers 5 and 6. I think this is a 6-receiver team. I think it's going to be fine with just 6 receivers. So definitely 3 quarterbacks, definitely 3 tight ends, and then we can tolerate 3 more running backs if we want. But in theory, I could maybe even go 4 quarterbacks if I really wanted to. We're letting the lobby decide our fate. I either pulled up Brock Purdy instead of taking Ricky Pearsall. I didn't get Bo Nix to make it back. I didn't get Goff to make it back. Those guys usually fall, but I guess not in a lobby when everyone else is watching. And this will be fun, but it's going to be unique for sure. The only pick I maybe could have justified there was taking Trevor Lawrence instead of Rico Dowdle. But hindsight always 2020. It is what it is, but fuck it. For the points, I think I'll just take Matthew Stafford. Even unstacked, I kind of just don't really care. Quarterback went kind of early in this one, so I'll just take Stafford, and I'm going to try to call a bluff. There was a lot of quarterbacks off the board on the left side of the board. I'm willing to take the chance that somebody falls back I still like. And just for the sake of advancing, last year Stafford put up top 5 numbers, and just for the sake of making it out of the pod, I don't think I need to have the stack. It's just kind of just the bet that Stafford puts up a lot of points again. So fuck it. I'll take him unstacked. There's always some backstacks available that also work. But JT Alford, FKG ad popped up during your countdown. I'm in the overflow. Apologies on that. I do not set the ads. The ads are set on a 18-minute recurring cycle. Every 18 minutes is basically how often you get an ad. I do not do it any other way. That's brutal. But J-Rock and I may show how to properly do zero running back. Good luck. It's always tough. If you can do it, and I'm impressed, it's an accomplishment. It's tough to do. At least in this market. Last year was much more easy. But there are some ways where I really like it. I think there are some picks that are really, really interesting if you do choose to go that route. But do I keep Bucky Irving or Xavier Worthy? That's an interesting question. If it's full PPR, I might go Worthy, but I think in general, I'm willing to just trust Bucky Irving. I think at cost, I think I'd rather go Bucky. Xavier Worthy is still not proven that he's a good pick. Damn it, Sladen does snipe me. He did have Tyson, so I kind of just walked into that one. I think I just go Malik Willis here just to lock it up. But I will say I really like Kincaid a lot as well. But Malik is that like pull in case of emergency. You don't have to have him stacked at all. I was hopeful I got Tyler Shuck there, but it didn't happen. And maybe I should have read the board and just taken Shuck at 113. But odds are Stafford outscores Shuck just from raw points. I think I did make the right call. But 2 unstacked quarterbacks, not my favorite way to go. But Trioth, he was fine, averaged 4.6 yards per carry, and this is Underdog. Not sure who we are referring to, but I'll take your word for it. Alfred, so you're saying it's my fault because I'm cheap. It's fine being cheap in best ball. When you play fantasy, you need some thrift store options. You always need some thrift store gems. But pick 8 is a very consistently good spot to draft from. There's never anything that feels gross. I have more bringbacks with the Eagles and Niners than I do the Giants and Cowboys. So I'm going to go Goddard here. And that is lining up with my rankings. I do have Goddard over Isaiah Likely. So going against the Niners week 17, we get the bringback versus Pearsall and Christian McCaffrey. That was the tiebreaker. I don't care too much about the bringbacks, but it is a tiebreaker. And in that instance, it was the deciding factor between Likely and Dallas Goedert. But yeah, JSN with Achane feels pretty solid. That's not bad. But dude behind you snapped Herbert with 30 seconds on the clock, basically. Unrepeatable unless Ricky starts hanging with Ja Morant. Yeah, there's pretty much no chance he gets shot again. So that's a fluke. We'll see what happens with his leg injuries. But when he was on the field, he had the yardage, but he never scored a touchdown last season. 0 touchdowns is also pretty unrepeatable. What are the chances Ricky Pearsall has back-to-back 0 touchdown seasons? That'd be pretty fucking crazy. So if he had scored a single touchdown, there would have been one game where he had more than like 12 fantasy points, and maybe some people would be more excited about him. But up until the injury, he was very usable. He was a solid play, especially in full PPR. He was getting like 8 targets minimum every week. But W for Omega, I'm all in with Pearsall, Dynasty, and Best Ball. I think it's a good pick to make because Evans is also pretty injury prone. And the discount on the Niners receiver too, when Evans is this old, is really, really compelling. He's the youngest and probably healthiest receiver other than Stribling. And I wouldn't bet that Stribling is going to break out year one. But, in terms of rankings, I trust Hunter Henry the most, but I've been taking a lot of him lately. Did I get it in time? Yeah, I did. We got Brenton Strange instead. I'll mix it up. I'll go Brenton Strange. They're all good picks in this round. Strange is totally fine. I could have gone with Gadsden for the bring back on Kenneth Walker, but at this point, I'm mostly only taking Gadsden when he's stacked. I could see Njoku outperform him. I could also just see having way too many shares of Gadsden not be the right choice. I have a lot invested in Gadsden already, so we'll go Brenton Strange. No issue with that, just a little bit different for the sake of my exposures. I think I have the least of Strange compared to Gadsden and Hunter Henry. But more likely Ricky Pearsall shot again, or Ayuk figures it out. At this point, it's probably more likely that Ricky Pearsall does get shot again. Like, that is actually, like, you know, given the gun violence in this country, you never know what room you're going to walk into, what building is going to get randomly assaulted. So the odds are very slim, but never zero. The chances with Ayuk right now appear to be zero. But yeah, the Goff snipe was also a bummer. The Bo Nix snipe was a bummer. Even just Dart unstacked was kind of a bummer. Y'all did kind of punish me at quarterback, but I feel like I kind of made it out okay. It's not the end of the world, but this will be interesting. Hunter Henry goes. I was hopeful he'd make it back, but I'll tell you this. If Juwan Johnson's there, I think I just take him, but do I do that or... Oh, Rodgers is already gone. Okay, never mind. Do I go Juwan or do I go with Bigsby? I'm just going to take the fall on Tyjae Spears. I'm fine with it. 7 picks past ADP. Y'all know I have a shit ton of Tank Bigsby already. I have a shit ton of Juwan Johnson already. And I have a couple stacks still available at quarterback. I could go Terrence Ferguson. I could go Greg Dulcich. So I think forcing Juwan Johnson is not the most necessary choice, especially without Tyler Shuck. Had I gotten Tyler Shuck, I would have done it, but I don't have Chuck, so it's really not that important. It's fine. But got sniped on Caleb, so yeah, this was a get your guys at quarterback, got to pay up for it. Not maybe the best lobby to be fading quarterback. But Rodgers did go 154. I was hopeful to get Rodgers at 161. He was already taken, though. Maybe I should have taken him at 152. But do I keep Bucky Irving or Xavier Worthy? I think I already answered this question. Give me Bucky Irving, but I don't feel amazing about it. Yeah, YouTube Premium is totally worth it. I would say for all of the no ad features, my favorite is on YouTube. You also get YouTube Music, which is pretty lit. No ads there either. I definitely endorse the YouTube Premium. But, yeah, at this point, everyone got sniped at quarterback. That's just the nature of the lobby. Just got to make it out with enough points. But, JT shops at Goodwill 2 times a week. You know, there are some great finds at thrift stores. It's not a bad way to live. Especially if you flip it for profit. Like, shout out Goofy Chicken. My dad does that too, but... do I just take Geno? I don't think I want him. This is kind of just a different exposure type of build. I'm going to go with Dylan Sampson as a player I don't usually take. We can draft 6 of them on this team, so just getting diversified shares of players that are talented. Like Tyjae can catch a lot of passes. He is talented. Sampson is also pretty talented. If you told me they got the start in either Tennessee or Cleveland, they would have value. So I don't have a lot of shares of them, but Given the quarterback room, there's part of me that feels like this team is a little bit behind the 8 ball. So I'm kind of willing to kind of mix it up. This is a unique team for me. I don't usually go 6 receivers, but really strong at the position despite waiting until round 3. I think this team is pretty interesting at receiver. I wish it was more stacked up, but it's just not. So, all's fair in love and war and best ball. We get sniped. It is what it is. But Slayton gets panicky when Kyler's my only quarterback. Kyler should pay off, though. I think Kyler's going to have a good season. Thoughts on Stripling? I think he's overpriced, but will be relevant. Going to take a minute, but I think if you told me he was going back-to-back with Christian Kirk in the 18th round, I think that would be fine. I think him versus Kirk, I'd rather have more shares of Kirk, who goes undrafted. But Stripling should be okay. He'll be usable. But, yo, we got over 80 people watching, only 33 likes. If y'all can get me up to 55 likes, it is possible to do that. I'll draft a BBM. How about that? I'll take Greg Dulcich here at the discount. We could go T-Ferg, but I'll just go Dulcich. More reliably getting targets. It validates the Malik Willis selection. But originally, I was only going to do 2 drafts. I'll go bold. I'm kind of tired, but if you all can drop 55 likes, we'll draft a BBM. It's totally possible because we were sitting at like 33 likes with 80 people watching. It's totally possible. But number 1 rule in best ball is tell a simple story. My story, Kyle gets J. Jeff murdered week 3. Okay, that's not the best strategy. I don't want to bet on somebody dying. But which odds are higher? Him getting shot again or him having 0 touchdowns again? Definitely getting shot. I would say the odds are higher that he gets shot than having 0 touchdowns. But Slayton, so excited to see Sadiq there. But same buy as Bowers. I never F up buys normally. Yeah, I don't draft Kenyan Sadiq. I don't think I have a single share of Kenyan Sadiq since the draft. I took way too much of him in the final weeks before the NFL draft. I have not been interested in Sadiq. But, sorry, got sniped on Bryce Young of all people. You were sad to get sniped on Bryce Young? Damn. And you went Rodgers. Did you have any... You didn't have a single fucking Steeler. That's bullshit, brother. That's some bullshit. That's out of spite, if I've ever seen it. But Brissett goes, Tua goes. I'm just not really giving a shit at this point about the quarterback prices. I've kind of just accepted my fate. I'm getting the cheapest option possible. And it's going to be fine. I think I want the 3-6-6-3 on this one. Our quarterback options are gross as fuck. But running back, I'll go Katron. Actually, nah. I'll go Jaden Blue. I have more shares of Katron for sure. I'll go Jaden Blue. I'm fine with that. And then we'll just take a random quarterback in the final round. One random quarterback. Maybe I take a handcuff quarterback. What if I go Joe Milton to stack with Jaden Blue? Wouldn't that be something? But which quarterback can I take? Not many that make any sense for this team. If anything, I'm really, really counting on Stafford and Malik. But we'll just look at the options. Like, where do you go in this round if you're really going to force it? Do I just take Shador? I guess I just accept my fate. The Shador, Sanders, Dylan Sampson stack. I guess that's the play. Maybe this is a Richardson team. Cousins will get some starts, but I don't know. I should probably just go Shedeur. I think that's probably the move. We get a double week 11 bye, but we're getting the last starter. Let's do it. Just for the sake of the points, the cheapest option possible. I faded quarterback as much as you could in this one. And it's not perfect. It's not amazing, but that's kind of the only weakness of the team. An unstacked Stafford. Malik with Dulcich, though, could be the piece I need. Maybe I should have taken T-Ferg, however. But Shedeur Sanders, whatever. Not my favorite team. Definitely a sharp lobby. I think I should have taken Trevor Lawrence instead of Rico. But I felt like I was going to get one of the quarterbacks back. I thought I could push Brock Purdy possibly. I didn't get lucky. Beagle Ears said no. And then Zero had Laporta. He took Jared Goff. Underdogs Anonymous had Cortland Sutton. He took Bo Nix. And then the two rushing quarterbacks that you don't have to stack did go right ahead of me. Dart off the board was kind of tough. Kyler off the board was kind of tough. And maybe I should have just taken Herbert and said, fuck it. That's usually kind of what I do in round 7. So I kind of just got punished at the position. But Stafford at 113 last year was totally viable for just scoring enough points to make it work. Malik might have 800 plus rushing yards, so he could save me maybe a top 10 score at the position. But I also was one pick away from getting Tyler Shuck stacked with Chris Olave. So if I needed the stack, maybe Tyler Shuck over Stafford was the play. It is what it is. Tough lobby. Bummer, but that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes it just doesn't quite happen in your favor, but that's really the only downside of the team. Otherwise, the team's pretty interesting. We got Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker III, Rico Dowdle, Tyjae Spears, Dylan Sampson, and Jaden Blue. So the elite top-heavy nature of the double anchor. The good flex option, a really reliable option in Rico Dowdle. Back-to-back seasons with over 1,000 rushing yards, 39 catches, and 7 touchdowns. If he does that again, I think it'll be the more valuable Steelers running back. And he might do even better than that, given I think he's better than Jaylen Warren, straight up. But Tyjae Spears, mixing him in past ADP, it's about time I do that. I can't have Tank Bigsby on every team, but Tyjae is good enough. He will mix in when necessary. And maybe Pollard goes down. Maybe Pollard does miss time. But Sampson would be a great start if Quinshon Judkins misses time, especially in full PPR. But talented backup, past ADP, mixing him in for the first time in a while. And then Jaden Blue also past ADP. He had risen pretty quickly, so 7 picks is something. But at pick 200, it's kind of worthless. They're all... ADP means nothing at that point in the draft. But Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Jamison Williams, Brian Thomas Jr., Ricky Pearsall, and Michael Pittman Jr. The receiver room feels fantastic. I love the receiver room. Stopping at 6, I think, is fine with something like this. But Dallas Goedert, one of the best values on the board, in my opinion. Brenton Strange, a good click in that range, and also just a little different for my typical drafts. And then Greg Dulcich stacked up with Malik, 8 picks after ADP. So, yeah, the Trevor Lawrence pick, I think, is the only spot where I would have changed this draft decision and really felt better about this team. T-Law over Rico Dowdle maybe should have been the move, but I got sniped by Coolers, who had Bishal Tootin. It is what it is. It is what it is. But, yeah, there was a lot of QB snipes in this one. Major domino effect. The position did not get cheap at any point in time. If anything, Josh Allen may have been the best value at the quarterback position. Lamar went early. Drake May, Jaden Daniels went early. Dak Prescott went early. There was really very few players that went past ADP, other than Stafford. Stafford might have been the best fucking value in this lobby, honestly. But I took him unstacked. That never feels good. Alfred, hella sets of golf clubs and George Foreman grills. Yo, shout out Goodwill. Drop a poll for BBM or Puppy. Well, at the moment we got 51 likes, but sure, let's close our poll. Looks like the Ravens win it. The Bengals, a lot more conviction than the Steelers in this one. Not a single person clicked the Browns. That is kind of the only question I had. Was anyone going to troll the poll and pick the Browns? But yeah, Ravens feel like a good bet. I think the Steelers are kind of underrated, though. I also can see the Bengals just collapse again. And maybe the Ravens don't have the firepower on offense this year if Lamar gets hurt. But that's kind of the only way they lose the division. Their defense should be better, given they got Jesse Minter this time. But all right, let's ask you guys. I mentioned BBM, but it looks like we will hit 55. I think BBM will win, but sure. If you want me to drop a poll for it, I'll do it. But I said BBM, so if y'all want BBM, I'm happy to do it. Don't do it too often. It feels fine. We got 80 people watching on a Monday night. Let's go. But Pearsall getting shot or Jets 0 turnovers again. I like this game. You are welcome. Honestly, I would say it's more likely the Jets have 0 turnovers again. That's what I would say. But Zero said grab Mac Jones. Yo, he would have fit, actually. You know what? Maybe that should have been the pick. I wish I caught up with the chat. I wish I fucking saw it when you typed it. Honestly, that might be better than an unstacked Shador. The Shador pick was kind of weird. But Quinn Ewers, nah, we weren't taking Quinn Ewers, that's for sure. Pearsall getting shot or Messi coming back for World Cup 2030. If anything, Messi probably comes back. So if on that one, I'd probably go Pearsall. But handcuff it. You know what? Yeah, I kind of regret not taking Mac Jones on that one. But a little heavy on RB, but I'm happy with my draft. I'll take it. We'll do some team reviews. We'll also take a look at Ruben. I think this might be the first time we've drafted with Ruben. And excited for the league. On slate with Ruben. But Shador and Sampson stack is what you need week 17. No, in week 17, I'm betting on Malik Willis and Greg Dulcich in garbage time against the Bills. That's what I'm betting on. Or Stafford against the Bucks solo. Shador and Sampson against the Colts is not the bet. It's Malik Willis and Greg Dulcich. Shador is just there for points. But yeah, we're going to do one more draft. We hit the like goal. And right now, BBM is leading the poll. It is close, though. It's 56 to 44. Only 18 votes, so I'll leave it up for a few more minutes. We'll do some team reviews. But Kent wants BBM. We got this to 50 likes for the puppy. Laugh my ass off. Go with Best Ball Mania. Right? Yeah, we almost didn't hit the like goal. So if anything, we stick with BBM. But, all right. Let's, there's a couple team reviews I got to do. We got Zero in here, A-Rod in here, as well as Sladen, Mr. Mufasa, Coolers, and Burgess. We actually have 6 team reviews. Fuck. Okay. Let me try and go quickly. Zero had Goff, Baker, and Tua. Quinchon, Chuba, C-Rod, Woody Marks, B-Rob, and Mike Washington. The double... oh, no, never mind. There's no double on this one. Good luck at running back. Chuba, not my favorite. The depth at RB, kind of gross. Your fixation on Judkins is kind of weird. He's talented, but not my favorite pick. He's okay, but he's just fine. London with Puka, pretty common, but Igbuka in the third. Seems like you really like Igbuka. Burden, Harrison, and Trey Tucker. Not the best 6 receiver room I've ever seen, but you trust Tucker a lot. You also have a fixation on Harrison. A lot of your ugly clicks on this one, but Laporta, Juwan, and T. Ferg, that's pretty lit. That's pretty fine. Yeah, I wish you hadn't taken Goff. That was a bummer. Running back is a little gross, but it's fine. Receiver could use the 7th, though. It probably gets away with just 6, but I don't love Trey Tucker as number 6 and stopping there. But the top 3 or 4 are good enough. Solid team 0. Just don't love the running back room. A-Rod has Bo Nix and Daniel Jones. Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Scatabo, and Bucky Irving. Ray Davis, very fun at running back. But receiver, mega anchor on Amon-Ra. Parker Washington, Alec Pierce, and Cortland Sutton. Stephon Diggs, McMillan, Keenan at 197. We'll pull up on Keenan. That's interesting. And then Troy Franklin at 212. He's fine, but not my favorite pick in Denver. Kelsey, Schultz, and Barner. Tight end room, though, does check out. Not bad. But quarterback, I hope Jones stays healthy, but Bo Nix, I prefer still having 3 with Bo Nix. I don't know if they're going to have as many fourth quarter comebacks be necessary this year, but their offense should be better with Waddle. So, yeah, running back is elite, but Bucky might be overpriced. Receiver, I think, comes together nicely, but maybe the receiver 2, P-Wash, is just not getting it done for you. There's some risk on this team, but I see the vision. The Sutton, Troy Franklin, Bo Nix stack doesn't feel like the best way to play it, but Waddle will go against Chris Rodriguez in the final week, or Christian Gonzalez, excuse me, in the Patriots. Maybe Sutton does deliver. Who knows? Decent team, but quarterback could be stronger. Just a little bit. Slayton is a team member, though. We got Kyler Murray, Shuck, and Cam Ward. The Shuck snipe was totally justified, so can't be bitter about it. He had Jordan Tyson. But Taylor, Breece Hall, Jacobs, Singleton, and Claiborne, that's pretty decent. The rookie swings, though, I think having both is a little scary. But Jacobs probably delivers. Probably pretty lit up top. DJ Moore, Tyson, Jaden Reed, Addison, Concepcion, Jawan Jennings, Judy, and Ridley. Pretty fun receiver room, especially if you get the late season trades on the veterans. Judy and Ridley are kind of interesting, but good luck with the Tyson breakout. DJ Moore being the first one is a little scary, but high upside with all of the players. In context, it's not bad, but it is a little bit risky. Bowers and Sadiq. Loving Sadiq is not my preference. I hate it. So you do have Bowers, it's fine. But the team checks out. The team is totally fine. The Kyler Addison stack, I think, saves you. But, okay, we had Mr. Mufasa, Coolers, and Burgess. 3 more. And then BBM. Love Darnold and Rodgers. The Rodgers pick was sad to see. I really wanted Rodgers, honestly. I was kind of bummed. You sniped me. But Cook and Saquon, Price and Dobbins, Katron, Kalen Black, 6 running backs, definitely a good room. Tet, Christian Watson, QJ Godwin, Shaheed, Adonai Mitchell, and Jeremy Bernard. Kind of thin with number 6 and 7, but the top 5 are decent. I don't love Tet's price, though. I think Tet should be going much later. In all honesty, he's a big fade for me in the 4th. So McBride and Hunter Henry, that's decent. But McBride at 34, that feels pretty good. That's where you should be taking McBride. Definitely. But maybe he's still too expensive there. It's still possible. Nice. But damn it, you couldn't have just gone with Brissett in the final round. You had to take an unstacked Rodgers. Damn it, brother. Damn it. This was unfortunate, Mufasa. Why couldn't you have just gone Jacoby Brissett and let me have some nice thing? It's fine, though. I'm not going to be bitter about it. Coolers had T-Law, Fernando Mendoza, and Geno Smith. Genty, Javante, Travis, and Beischel Tootin, JCM. So running back is pretty lit. quarterback, pretty top heavy. Good luck with Mendoza and Gino. Got desperate. Pulled up Mendoza at 158 in this one. Interesting. But Jefferson, Cardinal Tate, Metcalf. You got sniped on Rodgers. Jacoby, Shakir, Boston, and Tank Dell. Pretty solid, but does get a little meh towards the middle and depth. But Myers is probably underrated. Stacks up with T-Lot's good. Shakir is pretty meh. Boston could just take a while to get going. It is Cleveland after all. And then Tank Dell just could be injured. So good luck at receiver. But Kyle Pitts, Gunnar Hellman, Gesicki feel pretty decent. The Gesicki click I don't take too often, but with Pitts and Helm, I think it's fine. But it is a little random, I will say. Just a little bit random there. All right. This lobby was very interesting. The Trevor Lawrence pick really comes in clutch when you consider that factor. But really strong running back room, that could be good enough. But let's see if Burgess redeemed himself. He goes Drake May, Jaden Daniels at the 5-6 turn. Chase Brown, Blake Corum, Rashad White, Jordan Mason, and Keaton Missile. So stopping there, it's decent. I will say the fall off after Chase Brown is kind of significant. I'm not the biggest fan of Corum above ADP, but Rashad and Mason feel like good clicks. So it's fine, but Keaton Mitchell could be way overpriced. And same with Corum, hypothetically. But A.J. Brown does stack. Garrett Wilson is really talented. Adams on this side of the board is unique. Travis Hunter, though, is a steep fall off. Flournoy is a big gamble. Your boy Tolbert, well above ADP. I don't get it. Antonio Williams at 181 is whatever. They signed Debo, and he's not worth this pick either. Surratt is interesting, but a rookie that's hard to fully trust. And then Kayshon Boutte might get traded or might just be a good stack with Drake May. So a lot of volume, very top heavy. Wide receivers 4 through 9 feel pretty gross, though. Not the best receiver room you could have asked for. Kraft and Gadsden, though, is talented and high upside. The fall on Gadsden is good, and then Kraft is pretty lit. So, yeah, the 2 tight end, 2 quarterback, I think makes sense. You definitely needed 9 receivers, and that's never ideal. So you should have spent a little bit more at receiver, if you ask me. But an interesting team, not terrible. Elite quarterback play, fine at running back, but receiver, if the top 3 are all you need, you're in fine shape. It actually has a chance. I don't hate it, but this Jalen Tolbert click, man, I think you got to stop it. Like, legitimately. I think you need an intervention on Tolbert that high. Okay. For the sake of time, sorry, FF Nerd, I think I'm going to stick to just member team reviews. I promised you BBM, and it's been a minute. You guys hit the like goal, so I'm going to hop in. I'm only giving you a 5-second countdown. So once I start counting, I would just recommend entering 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 8 spots. I was hopeful that maybe I would get a lobby that was already close to full. Bummer. But all right. 1 spot left. Please give me a good pick. But it's going to be tough regardless. I get pick 3. Let's go. I don't have many picks at number 3. I checked my exposures earlier today in terms of pick distribution. Pick 3 is my lowest this year. That and pick 12, I almost never get compared to the rest of the board. But I'm going to turn off my air conditioner. I'll be right back. But we get pick 3. I'm expecting Jamar Chase. I'll be right back. All right. Beck27 got in this BBM. He has pick 1. Game tight right next to me at the 102. I got pick 3. I'm right next to Burgess, so maybe Burgess makes some crazy calls. and I get lucky. But if Game Tight goes Jamar Chase, I'd be so happy. No, he goes Bijan. He's not fucking around. That's fine. I'm a little low on Jamar Chase just because of how often I get pick 3 and the fact that he's never available at pick 4. It's so annoying. I've started to get a lot of pick 4s lately. And if you could ever just get Jamar Chase to fall one spot, it'd be pretty sweet. But definitely feels better to have Chase than Puka. I'll tell you that. But interesting. Burgess goes CeeDee Lamb at pick 4, and I don't hate it. It's not crazy. We've done it in the past, but it's definitely different. Burgess is not afraid of getting weird, but CJ Willie gets Puka at pick 5. Kenny the Jet gets JSN at pick 6. Hilltoppers goes Amon-Ra at the 7. So A-Rod has a choice on running back or Justin Jefferson. I assume he goes either CMC. No, he goes James Cook. Wow, interesting. Interesting round 1. CMC at pick 9, and then I assume Taylor goes here, but that's not guaranteed at this point. Anything is live. But like I said, Hilltoppers at the 107, A-Rod at the 108, TSKX3 at the 109, Peyton the Legend Manning at the 10, getting Taylor is pretty nice there. And then our boy Jesus Chewy BMZ 24 at pick 11. He's on the clock right now. And then Go Horns with a nice bronze badge there at pick 12. All right. Good luck, everyone. Thank you for entering this draft with me, and should be a fun one. We'll see what happens. My chat like froze. I was like, there's no way no one has commented in the last like 2-3 minutes, but it's probably longer than that. Holy shit. I'm way too behind on the chat. So I'm kind of just going to skip all the chat that I missed the last few minutes. For the sake of time, I think I got to move on. But this is funny. Mufasa, Brissett, ew. Ew. I know. I wouldn't take it either. If anything, give me Carson Beck, possibly. But didn't expect Kyler to get benched last year. Kyler just wanted out of Arizona. He overstayed his welcome. I think that's the main reason why he got benched. He got hurt, and he just knew that he was leaving. Said, fuck it. No need to stick around. But, all right. I'll take London. London with Jamar Chase feels better than Puka with Jamar Chase, because they both had the same bye week. It feels a lot more common to have London with Puka. Yeah, if you got quarterback early in that last one, you definitely played it probably better than the rest of the pack. But I might go triple receiver and just say fuck it, honestly. But Jeremiah Love here, only 3 picks past ADP. It's not that valuable. I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. A couple years ago, or maybe it was last year. What was it, last year? Yeah, it might have been last year. Everyone wanted Jamar Chase stacked with T. Higgins. Everyone wanted the fucking double stack. And I kind of am of the mindset that Burrow goes a little bit too high for just the single stack sometimes. Like, his cost is very much tied to the T. Higgins drafter on the right side of the board. But if you have Burrow, it honestly feels better double stacked than just single. So I might get sniped by A-Rod. Underdogs Anonymous is the only other Bengals drafter, but in a lobby with you guys, I'm going to believe that y'all know what you're doing. And other than Underdogs Anonymous, I would assume the other 10 people are not going to take an unstacked Joe Burrow. So if I don't get him, it's fine. Honestly, it'd be nice to have him. It'd be great to have him. But even if I don't get it, I don't think it's the end of the world. I can live with it. But I think fading Keaton Mitchell at that price is wise. I don't take him very much myself. If anything, just give me Hampton. Hampton above cost is more exciting than Keaton Mitchell, even on like a 5-7 pick slide. But when 25 bucks is on the line, the lobby doesn't insta-fill. I know, right? A little bit slower when it's 25 bucks. But Ryan Bladen is Go Horns in at the 12. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate that. And thanks for being a subscriber. Thanks for letting me know in the chat. But Austin is also going 0 RB as well. It'll be an interesting discussion. Who builds it the best? But he pulled up Lad McConkey. He might be going with Herbert on this one. But I will say, to also pull up Lad is a little bit odd. A little bit odd. Because, like, if anything, you could just draft this from, like, the 10 slot if you pull up Bowers. You know, like, you can basically just do this from the 9 or 10 slot easily and then get a better 4th round pick, in theory. But Slayton says first round CeeDee Lamb is indeed crazy. I think you mean just pick 4. But interesting. Allen falls to pick 43 in this lobby. That is the lowest I've seen Allen myself. But Scatabo goes to CJ Willie. I assumed Burgess would have taken him, so honestly kind of fine with him coming off the board. I think I'm just going to pivot to the position I definitely need. I think I'm just going to take Swift. I think Swift is actually worth a 4th round pick, actually, so I don't mind it. I have 3 receivers already. I got Jamar, Drake London, and T. Higgins. So that's not a position I desperately need as much. If anything, I'm probably just double tapping running back here. That kind of feels like my desired direction. But I will say I kind of feel like I can also push running back a little bit and still get away with it. I honestly don't hate it, but having Swift feels very safe. No issue with that, generally speaking. But Montgomery makes it back, so that's fine. It's not going to be as unique just because Monty was top ADP when I took Swift, and then Swift basically goes where I just took him. So you can kind of get this combo just in the other order, taking Montgomery first, then Swift, but I will stick to my rankings and just take the guys I like. Triple receiver, and then Swift and Dave Montgomery. It might not be the best thing in the world, but it's fine. It gets the job done. No need to panic on the triple receiver start. Getting them at this turn is totally legit. But Kent says JSN is his guy. I had to at the 6. JSN at pick 6 is totally fine. If anything, him at pick 5 is also totally fine. It's just kind of annoying how the board shakes out from the 5 slot or the 4 slot. But Fantasy Gaming HQ, my keeper league allows your keeper to be kept week 10. Should I keep Ashton Genty or Chase Brown? I think you mean round 10. I don't really know what you mean by week 10 in a keeper league. I think you mean round 10. I would keep Ashton Genty Zero says London was falling third round early on. Definitely some teams got him there. A little bit, but at least this is BBM, so that is relevant, but it's not that big of a deal. Like, end of round 2, top of round 3, that's only like 4 or 5 picks. And it's also on the same side of the board, so it still goes to the same teams, but it might have a much better second round pick, in theory. But, yeah. 2024, Bengals stack was the year. And then the year after that, everyone fucking took it. But, Hilltoppers, it's your time to shine, going naked Burrow. Don't tempt him, Who Hames. Don't tempt him. But, what's going to be funny is if I decide to push Burrow to 75. If I decide to push Burrow, that'll be funny. But it's all going to come down to who's available. I don't think there's going to be a player that tempts me enough to pass on Burrow. But there's still 2 teams that can snipe me. Maybe Burgess snipes me. Maybe CJ Willie snipes me. Who knows? Daniels goes. And then Burrow. Yeah, of course Burgess snipes me. Of course. Got mad that I'm shitting on his Jalen Tolbert selection. Of course. We'll go Jadarian Price at 70 in BBM. This is like where he opened the contest, basically. So, yeah. I'll take Jadarian Price at pick 70. If anything, if Price was still on the board versus Burrow, I would have pushed Burrow, honestly. I think we'll be all right. But, yeah, of course. Of course we get sniped on Burrow. Thanks, Burgess. Thanks a lot. Yeah, you wanted Jaden, so you get an unstacked Burrow. Makes a lot of sense. Checks out. But Game Tight is on the clock. He has Luther Burden. But he goes Herbert. Interesting. So I don't even get Herbert. But I have Swift, so I can tolerate Caleb Williams. I definitely don't want to get stuck with no quarterback on this one. So I'll go Caleb with Swift. I think that's fine. It's all right, but Chase Brown, 11th round versus... Oh, okay, yeah. That was a big factor in that mega stack. Yeah, that team had every fucking Bengal, and they were all so cheap. Burrow was also going way too late the year when he won BBM. But he was not all mine, Kent. He was not all mine. He was not all mine. But Zero definitely have some BBMs with Lad at 46.51, but he's getting unique. Interesting. That's a really nice price on Lad McConkey. 51? Damn. But what's up, Hartman? Good to see you, brother. We'll be live on Hartman's channel next week. Next Monday. That'll be a lot of fun. Shout out Hartman FF. If you haven't checked out our boy Hartman, subscribe to his channel. Awesome takes over there. Kent, wow, I've never gotten Josh Allen that low before either. I know, 43 on Josh Allen feels pretty good. But I was not willing to go full zero RB. I still took Swift, but I've been going more zero RB at back half of drafts since it's always so running back heavy to mix it up. On the back half of the board, you mean like, okay, yeah, just to get different. I won't say I love that. It's interesting if you get like a Jefferson and Amon-Ra team, or like, you know, CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson. That's kind of interesting, but I prefer to keep it balanced, go one receiver, one running back if I mix it up there. But yeah, we did not get Burrow. Would have been the dream, of course. We set it up. It was always well known. That's what was trying to happen, but it just wasn't in the cards. But Zero says, Zero RB is just filling flex before taking first running back. Optimal Zero running back would be having elite quarterback or tight end, or both. Yeah, you want to have a full roster with like a lot of good picks to really justify like a true Zero RB build. Usually it's like you wait on running back. It's not robust running back, but it's still like valuable running back. That's my preferred direction. Getting Swift, Montgomery, Price feels decent. Definitely feels decent. If Rico falls, I might just take him. But tight end, damn, tight end went early in this one. Even Kittle's off the board already. That's crazy. That's pretty wild. Burgess has double elite tight end Bowers and Kraft. Dowdle does come off the board. He goes Pittman. I could take Addison at a little fall. I could go Worthy, but receiver's getting a little gross. I think I'll just take the discount on Addison at 94. I think that's fine. I think that's chill. No major issue with that. Question is, do I grab Kyler here or push it? I've seen Kyler fall back, but in a lobby like this, I think quarterback is really going to fly off the board around this long turn. I kind of think that maybe I should just take quarterback here. I do not trust what's going to make it back to me. But I like some of these running backs a lot. I like Kenny Gainwell a lot. There's a stacking partner with him. Could make it back. You know what? Against my better judgment, even though I just talked myself out of it, and y'all are listening, I'm gonna push quarterback. I'm gonna risk it. Fuck it. We have Caleb already making a bet on at least one elite quarterback, and fuck it. At least on this team, I have Tua as an option late. So, if I miss out on someone, so be it. That's just how it goes. But if I had to guess, pick 12 is probably going to go Baker. He has both Egbuka and Godwin. So that's definitely in the cards. We'll see what happens. But I know, the integrity protector not letting me have Burrow, but passing on Price. Brutal, but it is what it is. Just the nature of the game. You try and set it up, it just doesn't happen. It is what it is. We can also go Cole Kmet, says Zero. Yeah, don't give up. I'm not giving up. We got Swift. Hey, we got Swift. We're chilling with even just Swift, but we can also go Cole Kmet, like you said. Caleb with Swift there is a dub with falling Price. Dub. I know, to get Caleb on the way back was definitely fine, but if I had to take unstacked Herbert, I would have done it. That would have been okay too. But Game Type believes in the MVP case for Herbert. You know I believe. But Sladen hates Price. Sladen does not like Jadarian Price. That's for sure. Drafting Price after losing Burrow is like getting pushed to the ground and then kicked in the nuts as a chaser. Yeah, this is the price that Jadarian Price was going at when the contest dropped. Yeah, the first week of the contest, Price was maybe falling to the top of the 7th, but if anything, he was going at the 6-7 turn. It is definitely the better discount on him, and there's a world where he really does crush. It's possible, but Ladd was going late 4th back then. Definitely not today. It's interesting to see that Jadarian Price has started late, risen all the way into the mid-5th, and then now trickled all the way back down. At least on this draft, pick 70, Jadarian Price. Pretty solid. But, yeah, Ladd used to be much more in the middle of the 4th. Now he's in the 3rd pretty consistently. But, yeah, Neighbors also fell. Jacobs fell. Rashi still moved up the board. But yeah, some interesting changes for sure. You did say this, but I will say, Austin, you have some bold stances. To draft Burrow, even if he does pay off, to have it unstacked doesn't feel like the move. But y'all were generous. We took Addison with the hope, and it did work out. I get Kyler Murray to make it back, and that feels very, very nice. Very generous. Maybe y'all felt bad about the Burrow situation, but Kyler at 118, I will take that for sure. We get Swift stacked with Caleb, Kyler stacked with Addison, and I am a full-blown Kyler believer this year. I think he's 100% worth the ADP cost. He's coming off the board as quarterback 19. That is 100% his floor, and his floor that he put up in Arizona, he will hit his ceiling a lot more often in Minnesota. He has top 7 upside. With rushing value, he's a good option, even unstacked. I'm grateful. Y'all passed, but all right, back on the clock. I think this is a sweet spot for tight end, and I don't feel great about who makes it back, so I will go with the Kincaid breakout. I like my receiver room a lot, so getting a tight end in the starting lineup I think is the move. We do not have the option to take Baker Mayfield with Kenneth Gainwell, like I mentioned. He did go to the team at 12, who had Godwin and Igbuka. So I am very grateful. I got Kyler at 118. That feels like a smash. And despite missing on Burrow, this team is coming together. I like this team, honestly. Even without the Burrow mega. It would have been much better to have Burrow. But if I hadn't taken T. Higgins, the only receiver by my rankings and ADP that I would have considered would have been Flowers. The bring back would have been nice, but I like T. Higgins a lot. I think T. Higgins could outscore Zay Flowers. Definitely could happen. But here's what's interesting. We could have a week where you need both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and possibly Burrow is still not QB1. Like, it's still possible. It's probably going to happen. He's probably the guy you need if that's the case, but there's a world where he doesn't get anyone else involved. And even with 4 touchdowns, maybe Caleb still plays better. Against the Lions, it's possible. The Ravens defense could force some interceptions. That could happen, but here on Underdog, an interception is only worth -1, so I'm kind of just trying to talk myself into it, but this team would definitely be better had I had Joe Burrow instead of Caleb. Imagine if I took Jadarian Price, pushed Burrow, and he still made it back to me at 75. That would have been the dream. That would have been lit. Nice. But week 6 is going to be rough. Bye week bros already lighting their pitchforks. Oh, yeah, I do have a lot of week 6 buys. The receiver room with Jamar, T. Higgins, and Addison week 6. I don't give a shit about that. At receiver, it's not a big deal. I'm going to draft at least 4 more receivers, so I'll be okay in the starting lineup. But definitely some good ones. At receiver, that's the position I really don't give a shit about it, though. I don't want a lot more week 6 buys, but at receiver, I don't really give a shit. But back to the board. Running back falls off a cliff after this round. Don't mind the Gainwell pick at all. Yeah, Gainwell there, and then just having 4 that you feel great about after waiting a while, I think is a solid move there. But Gainwell is also just better than Bucky and not injured, says Zero. Could be a goal line hammer. I know, there's part of me that wants to rank Gainwell next to, like, Ramondre Stevenson, honestly. Like, I could totally see that happen, where Gainwell's just as valuable, if not better, than even Chuba Hubbard. But people take Bucks receiver 4 Ted Hurst, so why not Bears receiver 4 Jade Walker? I mix him in. I definitely take him on occasion. I have like 4% Jade Walker. Burgess goes Gadsden. I get Tyrone Tracy back. I'll just take that falling value and stop with 5. This feels like a very good 5-player running back room. To start with trip receivers, honestly, this feels pretty lit. I've been talking myself a little bit more into the Tyrone Tracy click as well. He falls 8 picks, so at 142 feels very, very nice. We are done at running back here. And I might be done at quarterback as well. With Caleb and Kyler, I think I can get away with that. I've drafted something very similar to it with Steve on a team in BBM as well. And I think we stopped with those two, so... Steve is sharp as fuck. He knows his shit, and if he approves, I might just trust his judgment and do that once again. But all right, this team is very interesting. This team is interesting. Trey Tucker goes. My ranks have Jalen McMillan as the clear pick. Tight end, we have Kincaid, so I think I can push one more round. I think I don't mind it. I trust McMillan the most here, so I'm going to do that. I have Kenneth Gainwell, so another bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't have a bring back yet, but we could go like Terrence Ferguson or something as like a bring back. It'll be all right, but sniping Burrow and Stafford is crazy. That's right. He also sniped the Puka drafter. He had Adams, though. The Stafford pick was way, way more justified than the Burrow selection. But I appreciate you leaving me Kyler. That I really appreciate. That was very kind of you. But would have been fun for the bit if you took Kyler too. I know, right? To go full snipe on all three would have been really funny. Have there been any Diggs news? He's flying up the board. I think just people are understanding that he's very likely to sign somewhere and just be way more valuable. I think people are just understanding he's definitely worth it. But yeah, he goes 112 in this lobby. That's notable. I've not taken him that high, but I got a shit ton of bags in the 130s, 140s, even 150s on Diggs. So I've actually started to stop taking him in the early 120s. I'm not as interested, honestly. I also have a lot of bags with him and Jaden Daniels. So unless he goes to like the Ravens, which I'm not totally expecting, and I just want to tack on a bunch of Lamar stacks with him, I probably am not going to take him very much at all once he moves up the board. That's kind of the whole point of taking him when he's cheap. It's so that you don't have to do it later when he's more expensive. But, oh yeah, we might not get Tua on this team. Bummer, right? What a bummer. But Tolbert loading up. I know, right? Tolbert has to be this next pick. At 165, I have to imagine Tolbert is coming. That's why he passed on Kyler for Malik Willis. It's got to be the whole reason. But I made you feel bad. If anything, that's how I needed to play it. I had to lay on the guilt so that I could get some other fucking value later. I got lucky. But, yeah, didn't go full snipe mode, but protected the contest integrity. It would have been fucking awesome had I gotten Burrow there. It would have been really nice. Falling Price and Fallon Caleb, though, says copy paste laid better than Burrow and a dusty running back. I know Burrow and Chuba might not be as valuable as Price and Caleb just from a raw points standpoint. But in general, it made not with double stack. Yeah, the double stack made it a little bit important for me to get Burrow. But it's all fine. Martin's livid about the Gainwell hype. He's not that good, people. Game Tight doesn't have a single tight end yet, so I'm just gonna take Dalton Schultz first. There's the Hawkinson stack eligible, but honestly, I really don't like taking Hawkinson at all. I think if you take Hawkinson over Schultz, you're making a big mistake. So I'll just go Schultz because Game Tight doesn't have a single tight end yet, and I think he will be taking one of these two. So just getting him there, I think, is fine. My running back room is done, so didn't give a shit about those values. I have a shit ton of Trey Harris, so I would have taken Tesla on the way back, but not fully convinced he would have made it back with Schultz. And I think Game Tight's going tight end here. I think he would have taken Schultz. I think he knows what he's doing. So, letting the clock time out. Goes Jonah Coleman. Interesting. Very interesting. I think, why not? I think I'll just go Trey Harris then. Stacking partners, Hawkinson's the only one, but I don't like taking him at all. I think he's overpriced. So I'll go Trey Harris. I already have the Addison stack, so I would never expect the double stack to hit on Kyler with Hawkinson and Addison. If it is going to hit, give me Jefferson for sure. And so just because I don't like the value, I'm going to pass completely on TJ Hawkinson. Even with Kyler Murray, I don't really care. I don't give a shit. But Tracy saved the team, possibly. I know. To stop at Tracy feels awesome. The nice discount, always appreciated. And then given the team didn't take running back until the 4th round, the running back room feels way better than I would have expected, given the first 3 rounds. Swift, Montgomery, Jadarian Price, Kenneth Gainwell, and Tyrone Tracy feels pretty fun. But Omar Cooper for the Week 17 bringback. I do not want any part of the Jets offense in Week 17. Against the Brian Flores Vikings defense, fuck that shit. Did you watch the Lions Week 17 last year? They were awful. Gibbs put up a dog shit performance. They lost to JJ McCarthy because of how good the Brian Flores defense is. You really want a piece of the Jets Week 17? Fuck that shit. Hell no. But Austin says, Kyler's a much better third quarterback than Malik for my team, so I did it for Blunt. I really appreciate you, Austin, and I assure you, I am not going to snipe you on Jalen Tolbert. I am never going to do that. Never going to do that. But, yeah, you can get Mitchell Tinsley. You can always draft Mitchell Tinsley. Yoshivas will probably be there. But maybe he goes Eric All as his 4th tight end. But Tolbert plus 2-2 backstack might be what you need. That'd be pretty funny if that's what he actually does. Not sure you could afford Tesla or bye week bros would really be at your doorstep. Oh, right. The week 6 would have also been a factor. You're right. Maybe it would have been a problem. But if I go Tolbert, I also get a week 6 bye. I can't draft a Dolphin. I also would get a week 6 bye. I just can't do it. I watched week 17 last year, but Gibbs also laid 3 bad playoff games, not just against Flores. I know Gibbs did kind of shit the bed, but the Lions don't lose that badly, typically speaking. Like, the Flores defense shut down everyone that week. They had nothing in the tank. But, yeah, Tolbert at this rate is definitely moving up the board rapidly. Probably going to be a 4th round pick by the end of the week. It's really just one good camp report, and it's to the moon. But T-Ferg's still here. Game Tight doesn't have a tight end, so definitely getting ahead of him on that position. Let's see what Game Tight does. Are these last 3 picks from Game Tight just all tight ends? Sorry, Zero. I'm not going to tack on a Cole Kmet. I'm going to ignore Cole Kmet on this one. But I'm stopping at 2 quarterbacks. We're stopping at 5 running backs. I think I'm going 8 receivers. I might be able to get away with it with just 7, but I think we'll be all right. Nah, he'll definitely be available in the last round. I almost took Jade Walker here, but I could use a rookie. I'll go Surratt. I'll go with the Ravens rookie, the bring back against the Bengals. I don't have a rookie receiver yet, and typically you want at least one. So Surratt, I think, is more... When I was doing my rookie evaluations, I thought Surratt was a pretty league-ready receiver. I thought among the receivers in the rookie class this year, while Surratt maybe didn't have the highest upside, I thought in terms of who could contribute week one, I thought Surratt was pretty impressive. Out of Indiana, I liked what I saw. So I think he could have the leg up on Jacoby Lane, who may be a bit more of a project. They did draft Jacoby Lane first, so maybe that's just showing you who you should trust instead of Surratt. But I like Surratt. Getting a rookie receiver especially is usually a good move. And we get the bring back with those Bengals, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So one of them every week is going to be amazing. And maybe one of them actually shits the bed against Kyle Hamilton and the Jesse Minter defense. Maybe that's the case, but the team's fun. The team's pretty fun in my opinion. It would have obviously been better with Burrow instead of Caleb, but it is what it is. But Martin lobbing for the Mike Gesicki combo with Burrow. We'll see what Burgess does, but if anything, I had to guess he is taking a running back with his final pick. I think he's already decided he's not going with a Burrow stack. Just wants him. Just wants him. He only has Travion Henderson, Jordan Mason, Tyjae Spears, and Sean Tucker RB. That's not great. That's kind of thin. So I would assume he goes running back here. He did not take Andre Yoshibis. He took Jalen Tolbert at 196. He don't give a fuck. But Samaje Perine, the sharpest backstack with Burrow right now. Says copy, paste, laid. Young Moolah, give me all the Jets. Jets, Jets. Wow. Young Moolah, roots for the Raiders. Did not know you also rooted for the Jets. That's got to be a painful existence, my friend. I disagree. I don't want any of the Jets. But, no, the Flores matchup is week 17. The Vikings are at the Jets in week 17, who Hames. Is game type for real right now? I'm not sure. He goes Njoku tight end 1, and then we'll see what he takes with his second one. Pretty funny, honestly. I'm still on the clock here, and I will go with a Mr. Jade Walker instead of Cole Kmet. I'll get the Skywalker touchdown celebration. That will hit a few times. Jade Walker, how many touchdowns did he score last year? 6? Oh, no, he scored 2 of them. He only had 6 catches. My bad. Jade Walker, fuck it. Only 6 catches last year. How valuable could he be? He's on my team. Let's go for it. All right, this is the full roster. We got Caleb Williams and Kyler Murray. I think that's fine at quarterback. Thankfully, y'all let me have Kyler at 118. That one was huge. Honestly, I think I needed it. But running back looks pretty fun to fade it until round 4 and end up with this combo. Feels pretty interesting. We took Swift and Montgomery out of order, but maybe not the least common pairing by ADP. It's definitely possible. I just took it in the opposite order. But Jadarian Price at 70 feels very nice. Still not the cheapest discount you could get in this contest. He did open the contest in BBM. A little bit cheaper than that, but I'll take it at 70. Feels decent. I don't love Jadarian Price, but at 70, fine. I'll mix it in. Kenny Gainwell, though, I like him a lot. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's a good value. And then Tyron Tracy at 142 feels pretty sweet. But the Jamar Chase T. Higgins combo, alas, did not get the stack. We almost got it, but Austin said fuck off. Drake London, though, as our receiver 2. The receiver room is very top-heavy, pretty loaded up top. Every week, we got some high upside. But Addison on this team, that was a nice discount. Stacked up is pretty sweet. Jalen McMillan, a guy I like a lot. Trey Harris should break out. The team likes him a lot internally and probably likes him enough not to re-sign Keenan Allen. But Surratt for that Bengals bring back. We get the rookie receiver in Baltimore. I think I trust the most, but could be a crowded system. Maybe I picked the wrong one. And then Jade Walker could be worthless, but I think he will hit some random touchdowns this year. His touchdown celebration is elite. It will be, used to brag on occasion. Dalton Kincaid, though, could be the third-year breakout that crushes the position. I love his ADP. I think he is one of the best picks at the position. He just has to stay healthy. But the double Dalton correlation, we get Dalton Schultz and Kincaid. Schultz, though, is one of the safest picks in terms of volume. He's basically locked in to 100 targets. So he goes too late. He's a phenomenal pick. Not the best touchdown upside, but for just raw points every week, Dalton Schultz is a great selection. We got Terrence Ferguson, though, might not hit too often, but will score touchdowns, will be mixed in heavily in the Ram system, and he can score from anywhere on the field. A rare skill set in best ball. I think he has high upside. So the team is pretty fun. We'll see if this receiver room can actually get it done. But other than Zay Flowers, I don't think there was a better pick at receiver for me to take, honestly. Like, based on my rankings, I did take my highest ranked receiver. Like, legitimately. Whether it was stacked with Burrow or not. I do not rank a single receiver going after T. Higgins in this lobby above T. Higgins. He's my receiver 12. I like him more than Zay Flowers, straight up. So, it is what it is. But I don't regret not grabbing a running back. I think the room filled out very nicely because I passed a running back. Team's solid. Team's got a chance. No doubt about it. But it's only team reviews the rest of the way. If you stuck with me to the end of this this draft, I appreciate it. And thanks for everyone for hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and watching me draft best ball teams tonight. It was fun. But we got some team reviews as well on the slate. Game Tight was in here. We'll take a look at his tight end room. Burgess is in here. We have to review it. He's a member, but honestly, I'm a little bit upset with it. So he gave us Kyler, but the Burrow snipe was just brutal. A-Rod is in here as well. And then I believe that's the last of the team reviews. We have 3 of them on the slate here. So let's start with Game Tight. Let's start with Game Tight because that tight end room is crazy. He has Herbert and Tyler Shuck. I think he gets away with it, actually. I think that's fine. In all honesty, I don't mind it. Bijan, Quinshon Judkins, Kyle Monangai, and Blake Corum. Tyler Algier, Jonah Coleman, and Mike Washington. So a lot of handcuffs. Literally 5 handcuffs. And then Coleman at 170 is pretty interesting. But George Pickens, Chris Olave, Luther Burden. You did pass on Caleb Williams, so I appreciate that. But you did take Quentin Johnston, so stacking him up with Herbert is a legit call. I will say, in BBM, I feel a lot worse about the Quentin Johnston pick because when the contest opened, he literally went 30 picks higher at like 100. So you are paying a massive premium on Quentin Johnston, and it's not a time box contest, so you are at a disadvantage to pre-stack Justin Herbert with Quentin Johnston. There's a lot of teams that got him way, way cheaper in BBM. But is it the correct pick ultimately? Possibly. I think it's still fine at cost right now. But Wandale, Jalen Naylor, and Trey Tucker, the double Vegas receiver, that's interesting. Don't love it, but I suppose it could pay off. The top 5, though, are really good. You can tolerate the risk with those Raiders. One of them should hit at least like 5 weeks of the year. But Njoku and Gesicki makes you want to vomit. The tight end room that is literally the worst possible I've ever seen. But there's also a world where Njoku just fucking crushes because Gadsden's not the play. That is also possible. The Njoku stack could actually pay off as like a top 12 option, but I wouldn't want to bet on it as my number one with only Gesicki. Otherwise, that feels really reckless. And odds are it doesn't pay off. So tight end room is terrible, but that's the one position I suppose you can get away with. But you have too many running backs. I don't think you needed Coleman or Algier. Coleman at a big discount, I get it. Mike Washington above ADP. 7 running backs may have been too much. You could have definitely taken another tight end. I did kind of snipe you, though. I did kind of say, like, let me get ahead of him. I took Schultz before you could take him. You passed on Hawkinson. You did not want Hunter Henry or Brenton Strange. You got sniped on Gadsden. You never had a shot at Laporta. Yeah, I will say the tight end market got really weird for you. But you took Tyler Shuck and Wan'Dale Robinson. I understand those selections. I think instead of Naylor or Trey Tucker, you should have just taken a tight end. I think that was the play. You did not need Jalen Naylor more than Hunter Henry. I think you should have just taken Hunter Henry. But either that or TJ Hawkinson over Jonah Coleman. Good luck in this one, Game Tight. The tight end room is interesting. We'll see what happens. But, yo, we got a super chat in from Ken TF. Review Kenny the Jet team at the 6 as... Be as brutally honest as possible. Well, for $10, you bet your ass you're getting it, brother. You bet your ass. Let's take a look at Kenny the Jet. I appreciate the super chat. A reminder, if anyone wants a team review, you can become a member for $4.99 per month as well. But if you also want to drop a super chat, this is also definitely going to make you jump the queue. No doubt about it. But let's take a look. Kenny the Jet at the 106. Got Josh Allen at 43. Love it. Waited until Sam Darnold. I believe you had JSN, so lines up perfectly right at ADP, right at cost, and then right at cost as well, Fernando Mendoza. The 8-pick slide on Josh Allen is pretty sweet. And then Mendoza is unstacked, but who cares? Mendoza could have some value. I don't know if you needed the third quarterback, honestly. But let's take a look at the rest. You have only 4 running backs. You have Devon Achane, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard, and Chuba Hubbard. At cost, I hate Breece Hall. At cost, I hate Chuba Hubbard. I think they could legitimately go a full round cheaper. So in terms of player takes, I vehemently disagree with those 2 picks. However, at pick 30, it's a little bit more exciting on Breece Hall. Achane, though, at 19 is not the best option. I don't love Achane either. I do really like Tony Pollard. I actually prefer Pollard over Jadarian Price. So I like that pick a lot. But I don't feel good enough about Breece Hall and Chuba to just stop at 4. I think I would have loved to tank Bigsby on this team as well. But to spend that much at running back and stop at 4 is fine. I don't mind it. But honestly, if you told me Mendoza at 174 was just tank Bigsby or even like Brian Robinson, I think I might like this team better. Even if it was Ray Davis, I think I might like this team a little bit better. It might help you a little bit more. But it's not the end of the world. It's okay. But Chuba feels kind of worthless at times. I might be totally wrong about that. He might actually be pretty good. JSN, though, is stacked. So is DJ Moore. So that feels pretty sweet. Michael Wilson, receiver 3. So a steep drop-off. Matthew Golden, number 4, a breakout candidate I actually really like. I have a shit ton of Matthew Golden myself. Juwan Jennings still feels a little too expensive for my liking. Jeremy Bernard, also a little expensive. The rookie with Aaron Rodgers usually doesn't pay off, so Not my favorite click, but he is talented. He's all right. Tyreek Hill, risky as fuck. And then Troy Franklin, not my preferred round 18 Bronco. I would rather have Pat Bryant, but did have a lot of volume last year, did have some upside. Maybe his chemistry with Bo Nix will pay off. An interesting receiver room. I can't say I love it. JSN and DJ Moore is okay, but Wilson and literally everyone other than Golden is pretty rough. And then Golden is just like, you know, wishful thinking, but should work out. At least at 115, he should be better than that. But will he be good enough to pay off? I don't love this receiver room. This is a little scary. Because even though you have 8, there's some major risks. Like Jawan is too expensive. Bernard might be too expensive. You took Tyreek at 196. That could be worthless. And then Franklin could also just be worthless. So good luck. But if Wilson doesn't hit, you might be in dog shit. You might be in some dire straits there. Not dog shit. Stepping in dog shit is never fun. But I don't know if it's that bad. But it could be brutal. JSN was so clutch on this team. Very important. He hits. But Laporta and Andrews and Sadiq, that's fine. I'm not in love with Sadiq myself, but Andrews and Laporta feel like a lot of touchdowns incoming, so that's totally fine. Yeah, I think you either should have taken a running back over Sadiq or Mendoza, and then I just would have taken different receivers at different intervals of the draft. But yeah, 100%. Oh no, Tank Bigsby went above Sadiq, so I still would have gone B-Rob or Tyler Algier, I think, over Kenyon Sadiq. I'm just not a Kenyon Sadiq believer myself. So several picks I don't like. It's really just the Breece Hall is not my favorite, but it's fine, I guess. I did not like the Chuba Hubbard pick. I also did not like the Juwan Jennings pick. Pretty much the last 4 receivers I thought kind of sucked. That's my honest opinion there. And then K. Rum just became a member as well. Are you in this lobby, Crumb? Let me know. If you are, I'll give you a team review for sure. But at the moment... Oh, were you pick 12? Are you Go Horns? Please remind me. I will happily do a team review for you. But let me know which team it is. I don't want to assume and do it incorrectly. All right. He joined the blunt rotation, though. If anything, we need to take a rip from the pipe. If anything, that's definitely what I have to do. But no. Oh, Ryan is also a member. I may have missed when you became a member, Ryan. So appreciate you dropping a comment. I will also review your team. I assure you. But let me pack a bowl real quick. We got a member of the blunt rotation. It's definitely valid. I got just enough in the grinder to pack one bowl. It's not a big bowl, but it's just enough of a nightcap. Let's go. Appreciate you, Crumb. Appreciate you very much. Okay. Crumb is at pick 7, and he just joined, so I'll review his team. It's the first time ever, so let's do it. Were you Hilltoppers? Yes. At pick 7, he's Hilltoppers. Goes Drake, May, Jared Goff, and Stroud. That's fine. That checks out. I don't love Stroud above ADP, but as QB3, if it's stacked up, it makes some sense. You had Jaden Higgins, so it's fine. Kyron Beischel-Tootin RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins. That's an interesting duo. I don't mind having both of them at all. Isaiah Pacheco, a little expensive, but on a good offense. And if he avoids like a James Conner or something, he should pay off. Katron Allen, though, one of my favorite picks. Running back room is pretty lit. Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, the stack with both of them. Gotta love that. Garrett Wilson, very talented player. A good fourth rounder. Mekhi Lemon at 79 is all right, but still kind of expensive in my opinion. Jaden Higgins and Knoll for the stack. Both Houston's year 2 breakouts. Hopefully Tank Dell isn't healthy enough to crater you. But we got Juwan Johnson and TJ Hawkinson and Pat Freiermuth. I don't love Hawkinson myself. I think he's kind of worthless, honestly. But at 175, I think it's all right. But only 7 picks that late. It's still not my favorite. It's kind of just like just getting a body in there for the most part. But Hawkinson, you did take above Gunnar Helm. That I disagree with. I actually prefer Gunnar Helm over Hawkinson myself. But, oh, it looks like 3 people actually tonight became a member. If you are in this lobby and I did not mention you getting a team review, you are a member, please let me know in the comment section. I will happily give you my thoughts, especially if you paid for it. But at least tonight the chat did not emphasize all of the members that did join. So I hope to get to everyone, but please, if you did just join and I didn't put you on the slate, just drop a comment. I'll get to it for sure. But Zero says Helm over Hawk feels like a little gross. You trust Kyler Murray's tight end? That feels disgusting. Especially when you factor in Hawkinson had only 6 more targets than Gunnar Helm last year. TJ Hawkinson. Oh, right. You always have to type in the dots. Here's the thing, Zero. Last year, TJ Hawkinson had 66 targets, and they restructured his contract. He's going to get paid less this season. Meanwhile, Gunnar Helm had 55 targets, so pretty close. And they got rid of Chigokonkwo, who had 79 targets. I think Hawkinson is the grosser pick. I think Hawkinson's the grosser pick. But I do prefer Freiermuth over both of them. But Gamblescene says Zero hates Helm. I mostly just hate Hawkinson. But Wandale taking all 55 of his targets, brother. I mean, he only needs 11 to be tied with Hawkinson, and I would definitely project more touchdowns for Gunnar Helm than TJ Hawkinson playing with Kyler Murray. If Trey McBride can only score 2 touchdowns with Kyler Murray, what the fuck is TJ Hawkinson going to do when Josh Oliver is stealing his lunch? I hate the Hawkinson pick myself. I think it's pretty bad. I do not like Hawkinson at all. Okay, let me get to the team reviews. We already took a look at Hilltoppers. But, yeah, this team is pretty interesting. Quarterback is great. Running back is pretty good. Receiver is top-heavy. I wouldn't say it's great. Might have needed a 7th, honestly. And then tight end is fine. Nothing special. Just a lot of volume. Juwan Johnson and Freiermuth have to hit. And I think they will. But Hawkinson feels kind of gross. Especially to me. But, Austin actually thinks Hawkinson has a bounce back year with Kyler. That would be something. But Josh Oliver steals touchdowns. I don't trust Hawkinson to score any touchdowns this year. Okay, let's move on, though. I think it's a good team, Hilltoppers. The Stroud pick also checks out. Receiver feels weak. Like, the receiver depth feels pretty weak. It feels great with Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, and Garrett Wilson. But if you told me there's an injury to Garrett Wilson again like last year, I think you could be hard-pressed to advance the team. I don't love Lemon enough. And then I really don't like Higgins and Knoll at all. So That's my concern on this team. Receiver is not my favorite. It's very top heavy. So the starting roster is fire. The depth is a little mid. And maybe you just have too many running backs. I think you could have gotten away with just not drafting Pacheco. I think Pacheco's the bad pick. That's the only pick I don't love. And if you told me it was a receiver... Yeah, Omar Cooper was still there at 151. I think you should have just taken Omar Cooper at a discount. I think it would have been a very nice, worthwhile addition. Because Pacheco feels pretty unnecessary, if you ask me. But he might be the piece you need. I might be underestimating Pacheco's role this year. Maybe it was a phenomenal pick. Maybe it is worth it. But appreciate becoming a member as well as the team reviews. Oh no, you just dropped the super chat if I'm not mistaken. I forget which one was which, but okay, back to everyone else's team reviews. Did I miss anyone in the chat that mentioned it? I mean, Austin is at pick 104, but here's the thing, Burgess. You snipe me on Burrow, you might go last in the team reviews. You also already had team reviews earlier today, so I'm trying to give some people who didn't get the attention the priority. That's the only factor here. But yo, Jesus, Chewy BMZ, are you a member or am I mistaken? I don't think so, but Ryan is. Let's get him at the pick 12. Let's do it. Go Horns has T-Law, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young. Any big values? Not really, but in BBM, it's more important you just get your guys and get the stacks, get the right options, more so than anything else. We got Genty, we got Saquon, always a nice start. We got Zach Charbonnet, we got Emmett Johnson, and Ray Davis. So the depth is gross. Charbonnet, running back 3, is not the way to build it, if you ask me. I like mixing in Charbonnet, but I think he's a much better suited RB5 than RB3. You might get away with it, though, because you got Genty and Barkley, but still, I think it's a little bit too cute to push Charbonnet as running back 3. Because Emmett, not going to contribute enough, in my opinion, to wait out Charbonnet in the flex. And then Ray Davis is also only giving you anything if James Cook goes down. So you better not suffer an injury to Saquon or Genty. If that happens, this team is cooked. But maybe they just stay healthy and it's worth the risk. Maybe those are the two guys you just need. Good luck, but the bye weeks could be thin with that type of room. Egbuka, Tet McMillan, Romadunze, Brian Thomas. Pretty solid top 4 wideouts. The double year 2 breakout, and then both of these guys, the double year 3 breakout. That's less expensive. Godwin, though, the double stack with Baker. You also have Kate Otten. Coker with Bryce Young. That's pretty solid. So the double stack with Tet and Bryce Young is interesting. And then Antonio Williams also kind of just random addition there. I don't love Williams at all myself. I'm pretty convinced they bring in Debo or Diggs or maybe even Keenan. I don't think they're done adding pass catchers in Washington. So when that happens, Antonio Williams will fall back down to round 17, round 18. I think he's a lot less valuable than his ADP would suggest. But Kyle Pitts on this one always feels valuable. Jake Ferguson and Kate Otten. Kind of mid, honestly, with Otten. I don't like the Otten pick at all myself. It's very injury dependent. He rarely scores touchdowns. You need a career best in that department for it to pay off. And he already got paid, so it's not like it's a contract season where he feels desperate to overcome. He kind of only pays off when there's an injury to Evans or someone above him. So it's too crowded there for me to trust him. Maybe he all of a sudden just scores touchdowns. But in general, I don't trust Kate Otten to give you more than like 8 or 9 points in half PPR. He's just not that good. On occasion, he has a random like 80-yard game, but it rarely comes with many touchdowns. Last year, only 1 touchdown and kind of a maximum of like 3 throughout his career. Otten feels pretty mid, if you ask me. But it is stacked with Baker, so it's fine. It's not that bad. It's just more points at the position. More of a floor play. Anyways, Zero says, Otten is gross, but Helm is good. Man, I love July. Here's the thing. They probably have the same type of volume, but if one of them, I think, scores more touchdowns, it's Gunnar Helm. And if one of them goes over like 90 targets, I think it's also Gunnar Helm. So Otten is, they're both in credit offenses, but your point on Bellinger might be valid. The Bellinger addition could be very annoying. Maybe I'm underestimating Bellinger's impact, but I don't like Cade Otton very much, other than just like floor points. It's kind of mid, if you ask me. There's a little bit of upside with Gunnar Helm that I think Cade Otton just doesn't have. We will see when it's all said and done. But this running back room feels a little bit too gross to get the job done. But receiver feels pretty solid. All 6 of them feel good. And there's some main like double stacks you kind of want to bet on. So the starting roster is phenomenal. The bench kind of sucks. But I still see some upside there. Maybe sucks is a bit too harsh. The bench is very risky. That is a better way to put it. But thank you very much for being a team member. I said it again. Holy shit. A member of the Blunt Rotation. Thank you very much, Ryan. I'll try and remember next time we're in the lobby with Go Horns. Game Tight. Let's take a look. Oh, no. We already took a look at Game Tight. I think we already took a look. It's just A-Rod and Burgess. But A-Rod has Lamar Jackson and Bo Nix. That's pretty sweet. James Cook and Chase Brown. Ramondre and Rashad White. Dylan Sampson. That checks out. Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle. Jordan Tyson, Cortland Sutton. Rashid Shaheed and Deebo Samuel. Jerry Jeudy and Jacoby Lane. Pretty balanced. No issues with really any pick, honestly. Legitimately, they all make sense. The double stack in Denver, even better. And then a double stack in Baltimore as well. Goddard, I love at cost. We also like Strange a decent amount. And then Evan Ingram, the rare Evan Ingram selection. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Honestly, this team, there isn't a single pick I wouldn't have made myself. Ramondre at 80, I'm fine with that. It's not my favorite choice, but I'm fine with it. Rashad at 113, I would definitely take myself. And then Sampson, maybe not my favorite RB5, but a very legit one. Totally a fine path. He is a true handcuff. No question about it. So, yeah, good team, man. Very solid, just totally complete. No holes. Legitimately, not a single hole on the roster. Very balanced in BBM. Very nice job. But let's take a look at Burgess. He sniped me on Burrow, and it is indeed completely unstacked. Not a single other Bengal. Love to see it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Austin, for the integrity of the lobby. Didn't let me have the Jamar Chase T. Higgins double stack. Stafford, though, and Malik Willis. We have Adams on this team. And we also have Jalen Tolbert on this team. His boy, Jalen Tolbert. The fixation on Tolbert needs to be studied. But Travion Henderson, Jordan Mason, Tyjae Spears, kind of a steep drop-off. Sean Tucker and Braylon Allen. This running back room needs to be right on these two. It needs an injury. It needs Sean Tucker to have like 3 30-point games, not just one. And then I don't understand Braylon Allen. Because if you told me Isaiah Davis wasn't there, I'd be okay with it. But Isaiah Davis is there. I don't think Braylon Allen ever catches passes. So it's just like hoping for touchdowns in the Jets backfield with the backup. What's the point? I hate clicking Braylon Allen. I never do it. I've done it like maybe 3 times total, and it always feels terrible. But he is very young. He is like a fucking tank. Maybe I'm underestimating just raw size in probably somewhat of a committee backfield. It seems like they wanted to do that last year, but we'll see. But CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman, Ryan Flournoy, Adonai Mitchell, and Jalen Tolbert. Receivers pretty strong, but then A.D. Mitchell and Jalen Tolbert feel pretty gross as fuck. Adonai did fall, though, to 189. That, I guess I understand. That's not atrocious, but it's still also very gross. The Jets receiver 3, what's the point? So, multiple Jets on this team. Jalen Tolbert. Yeah, man. You need an intervention. You can't have this much Tolbert. It's just crazy. But Bowers, Kraft, and Gadsden, an elite tight end room, no doubt about it. That is the saving grace. The tight end room is elite. The top 4 receivers are pretty valuable. You also pulled up Lamb at pick 4. You did not take Dak Prescott. Bro, I hope the Burrow pick was like fun in the moment, because like it's just so off for the team. There's just so many like strong takes on this team that just like up until Malik Willis, I think it makes sense. And then I think it all just kind of falls apart a little bit. But the Burrow pick was just so random. Maybe I'm still upset about it, but it must have been fun to snipe me. All right. I kind of ignored the chat for a minute there, so I think we got to all the members. I believe so, but we're coming up. Oh no, we already passed midnight, so I think it's time we probably just move on. I think I'm going to... Dean, you're pick 10, but not a member, so I think at this point, I think I'm just going to move on. I believe that's everyone. But appreciate everyone for popping in, and this one was a fun one. Sadly, we did not convert on the Burrow double stack. It was worth a try. But, all right. Appreciate it. Later. Bye-bye.